We're waiting for a reaction from Aditya Thackeray. Let's see what he has to say. He's about to address First on India Today. Listen in.
यापूर्वी उद्धव साहेब आणि आदित्य साहेबांच्या सहकार्यानं आपल्याला घरांचं स्वप्न प्रत्यक्ष उतरताना दिसलं, परंतु घराच्या किमतीबद्दल कुठेतरी आपली आग्रही मागणी होती की कमीत कमी किमतीत आम्हाला घर द्या.
एक जागा करून द्या मीडियाला.
आपण सगळ्यांनी जी केलेली विनंती होती, मागणी होती, त्यानुसार आज आदित्य.
All right, let's get that once again for you in terms of what is going on right there. Aditya Thackeray's visuals First on India Today. We're also waiting for a reaction coming in from Aditya Thackeray on all that is going on right now. These are live visuals, viewers, that we're staying on at this point of time, waiting for a comment coming in from Aditya Thackeray. In the meanwhile, we'll also get Anisha and Nalini both back on this story, because this is all boiling down to numbers and boiling down to the legality in this particular matter. But yes, everyone wants to hear what Aditya Thackeray wants to say on this, and we're waiting for that particular reaction too. Listen.
मजबूतीने आणलेली शिवसेना याच मजबूतीने पुढे घेऊन जाऊ, आपल्या सगळ्यांना देवदेवतांचे आशीर्वाद लाभो, हा प्रत्येकाचा या ठिकाणी मानस आहे. सगळ्यांच्या वतीने आपल्याला माझी नम्र विनंती आहे की एक चांगला निर्णय आपल्या मुखातनं आम्हाला ऐकायचा आहे. त्यासाठी ही प्रतीक्षा आहे, आपल्या मुखातनं हा निर्णय आम्हाला ऐकवा.
नमस्कार.
जय महाराष्ट्र. निर्णय किती लोकांना कळला? निर्णयाबद्दल किती लोकांनी ऐकलं? निर्णय किती लोकांनी ऐकलं? और बातमी हीच आहे की आज सकाळी मुख्यमंत्री उद्धव साहेबांनी स्वतः जितेंद्र आव्हाड साहेबांना फोन केला आणि अशा सूचना दिल्या, असं सांगितलं की आपण 25 वर्ष या पीडीडी बद्दल ऐकत आलेलो आहोत. पुढे मागे लेझिम सारखं चालायचं आपलं, आणि कुठे ना कुठेतरी असं वाटायचं की चला होत नाही. तो मार्गी प्रश्न आपण मागच्या वर्षी लावला, पण तरी देखील इथे अनेक पोलीस परिवार आहेत ज्यांची दुसरी पिढी असेल, तिसरी पिढी असेल, वर्ष ज्यांनी या महाराष्ट्राची सेवा केली आहे, जनतेला सुखरूप ठेवलेलं आहे. त्यांच्यासाठी आपण काहीतरी करणं गरजेचं आहे, आणि म्हणून त्यांनी फोन लावून सांगितलं.
I would have really translated Aditya Thackeray, viewers, but the voice is not clear in my talkback at the moment. Let me bring to you what he has exactly said in moments from now.
तुम्ही एवढा प्रेमाचा वर्ष आता केलेलाच आहे.
एक ही स्पॉट पे
आपण काही माझ्या वाढदिवसाला गायगावमधून पण आलेलो काही पोलीस परिवार, आणि त्यांनी मला सांगितलं की आदित्यजी तुम्हीच हे करू शकता, काही ना काहीतरी करून आम्हाला ही घर अफोर्डेबल. आणि मी मुख्यमंत्री महोदयांकडे प्रस्ताव तर दिलेला, मला माहिती नव्हतं खरं तर ते त्याच्यावर विचार करतील की नाही करणार, कारण आता तुम्हाला माहिती थोडी गडबड कशी संघर्ष नाही, आपल्याला संधी आहे, राजकीय संधी आहे.
फक्त कॅमेरा लावून
मुख्यमंत्री केवढा वेगळा आहे की या वेगळ्या काळामध्ये जिथे आपण स्वतःच्याच लोकांबरोबर लढत आहोत, स्वतःच्याच लोकांनी दगाफटका केल्यानंतरही आपल्या पोलीस परिवाराबद्दल विचार करत आहे, आपल्या सामान्य माणसाबद्दल विचार करणारा हा आपला मुख्यमंत्री आहे. मला वाटतं असं जर प्रेम सर्वांचं असेल, असं जर एक आशीर्वादाचं वर्षाव असेल, तर मग अजून काय पाहिजे. सगळे आमच्या मातोश्री इथे बसलेले आहेत, आमच्या सोबत आहेत, आणि हेच आशीर्वाद सदैव मिळवा. मी त्यावेळी पण सांगितलेलं, आज पण सांगितलं की जे शब्द आपण देतो ते आपण पायकडे करून दाखवतो, आणि म्हणून ते ब्रीदवाक्य आपलं रघुकुल रीत सदा चली आहे, प्राण जाय पर वचन न जाय. त्या दिवशी मी तुम्हाला बोललेलं आहे, आपण काम करून दाखवून, आज आपण काम ते करून दाखवलेलं आहे.
Short of what Aditya Thackeray is saying, that we will stand by the Shiv Sena. His audio is absolutely unclear, viewers. I would have translated it word by word for you, but let me try and grasp exactly what he's saying.
दोनच गोष्टी तुम्हाला सांगायच्या. एक, सदैव आनंदात राहा, आणि दुसरं, कोणी आपलं वरळी सोडून जायचं नाही. मी पुन्हा आपल्या सर्वांना शुभेच्छा देतो. असंच प्रेम, असेच आशीर्वाद आपले असेच धन्यवाद.
I think he's thanking his supporters for all the love that Uddhav Sena is enjoying at the moment. He's actually flanked by his supporters and they're sloganeering for Aditya Thackeray, and he's also giving them a word of appreciation and encouragement. Listen in.
जी मला वाटतं निकाल आजचा हाच आहे, महत्त्वाचा आहे की BDD मध्ये आपण परवडणारी घरं आज पोलीस परवाना देत आहोत. राजकीय गोष्टी सुरू असतात, पुढे मागे होत असतं, राजकीय जे काही निकाल असतील ते येणारच, पण लोकांची काम सतत करत राहणं हा आमचा सेवा धर्म आणि आम्ही करत राहू.
Will continue to work for
मला
my
बघू दे, कारण आता मी
people.
BDDच्याच आमच्या सर्व लोकांमध्ये आहे. निकाल मला जरा वाचायचे आहेत अजून. कॉन्फिडेंस जीत की तो पूरी है और प्यार भी पूरा है. जो दगेबाजी करते हैं वो कभी जीतते नहीं है, जो भाग के जाते हैं वो कभी जीतते नहीं है. मैं अभी मुझे थोड़ा पढ़ना है, जो भी अभी का निर्णय हो मुझे पढ़ना पड़ेगा. फ्लोर टेस्टसाठी ते तयार आहेत की नाही हा पहिला प्रश्न आहे. आमची फ्लोर टेस्ट आम्ही सांगितलेले काय आहे. मला वाटतं एकच आहे, फ्लोर टेस्टपेक्षा जो कोणी पळून गेलेला आहे, काही काही त्याच्यात खरोखर आमचे पण आहेत जे तिथून सतत फोन करतात की आमची सुटका करा, त्यांना फसवलं गेलं आहे, अजूनही ते संपर्कात आहेत, पण ज्यांनी दगाफटका केला त्यांनी डोळ्यात डोळे घालून बोलावं आम्हाला की आम्ही काय
We are in touch with the rebel MLAs, but there are some who need to meet us eye to eye for us to have a conversation.
लेकिन कभी ना कभी तो सामने आने वाले हैं, उनको आंख में आंख डाल के बात करनी पड़ेगी. देखते हैं. नक्की आहेत. आता ते तुम्हाला माहिती आहे किती, तुम्हाला पण तो आकडा माहिती आहे.
You also know what the numbers really look like. You're very much aware, but we are in touch with our supporters.
संजय राउत को भी आप लोग क्या इसको राजनीति के हिसाब से देख रहे हैं?
नहीं, ये राजनीति नहीं, ये तो भी सर्कस बन गई है.
और ये बताइए एक और सवाल, फ्लोर टेस्ट के लिए आप लोग तैयार हैं?
फ्लोर टेस्ट से मुझे सबसे बड़ी टेस्ट यही है, अगर जो भी बागी है, जो भाग के गए हैं, जो खुद को रिबेलियन कह रहे हैं, रिबेलियन करना होता तो यहाँ हिम्मत से करते, राजीनामा देते, रिजाइन करते और सामने चुनाव के लिए खड़े रहते. मेरी बात पूरी होती. दूसरी फ्लोर टेस्ट यही होगी कि मेरे सामने बैठे आंखों में आंखें डाल के बोले कि हमने क्या गलत किया.
Aditya Thackeray right there. Let me translate what he just told our reporters at this point of time. Long and short of what Aditya Thackeray has said is that I will continue to work for the people, and we, as in the Uddhav camp, will continue to work for the people. This is all politics for you. And he's also further gone on to say that we are in touch with some of the rebel MLAs. Our constant communication lines are open with some of our rebel MLAs, insinuating and indicating that perhaps there is some hope for them to come back, but not in as many words. And he also said that the ones who we are not in touch with, at some point they will have to come to Bombay. At some point they will have to come meet us eye to eye, and that's when we will have a conversation with them. And hence the big question now arises on the floor test issue. I would like our producers to please get us Nalini or Anisha on this broadcast. Anisha Mathur, our senior legal eagle, is joining us on this broadcast. When it comes to the floor test, Anisha, and we were talking about this earlier as well, the biggest problem for the Uddhav Thackeray camp would be that at the moment, just look at that. The numbers look like they're in Shinde's favor, Eknath Shinde's favor very clearly, no matter what is being said. And hence their apprehension is if they push for a floor test immediately before the hearing in the Supreme Court on 11th of July over the disqualification of the 16 MLAs, the Uddhav Sena would stand to lose at this point of time, and that would be their biggest apprehension. And hence, I see that Advocate Devdas Kamath has also requested the court that till the issue is decided, please do not let them have a floor test. What has the court said in this regard?
Well, the court has very clearly declined to take up this particular issue at this stage. What the court
from the court, in fact, on this point was that let us not raise an apprehension for which there is no reason at the moment. Effectively, what the court has said that if the Uddhav camp is worried about a floor test being forced, they can always approach the Supreme Court again. But at this stage, when Senior Advocate Devdutt Kamath raised this issue, that they are apprehensive that the Shinde camp could force a floor test, that there could be a very big change in the status quo, that they could try and change the government, the status quo of the government at the moment. The court said that at the moment this is not a consideration because the issue before us is of disqualification of these MLAs and the issue before us is of the powers of the Speaker. And if there is any further development, then the Uddhav camp is free to come before the court once again and raise those issues. So for now, the court has not said anything about the floor test.
Absolutely.
But yes,
so the court has not said anything about the floor test, Anisha, but you are, you're a legal, you're a legal mind, and many viewers today would have that question on the legality of this. Until this matter is being heard, legally speaking, and this is a question that every layman would perhaps want to know, is there a possibility whether the Supreme Court has said anything, not said anything against the arguments put forth by Devdas Kamath is a different story altogether. But can there legally be a floor test in this interim period? What does the law have to say about it?
Well, Shruti, that is a very, very complicated question of the law. See, at the moment, since the question of the validity of the Speaker itself, or the Deputy Speaker as the case is here, is under question, if there is to be a floor test, there has to be a Speaker in place to call for that vote. Now, the question before this court right now is whether Maharashtra has a valid Deputy Speaker in the position, in the chair or not. If there is no, if the removal of the Speaker or the no confidence motion against the Speaker has to be conducted, then that will have to be conducted before anything else can happen, because there has to be somebody on the chair to to call that floor test. So at the moment, this is a very, very complicated question of if the Shinde faction calls for a floor test, then what happens? Because that is exactly what the apprehension raised by Devdutt Kamath was, that if this happens, then what will happen? Because that is a question that nobody really has the answer to. Legally, what happens there at that point? And that is why the Supreme Court has said that if something like this happens, then you can come back to us on that particular point. For now, let's focus on the issues that are there before us. But yes, the question really will be...
Absolutely right. And you are absolutely right. And the Supreme Court is not really given a clear answer on that. And this has become a biggest point of contention. What if the Shinde camp pushes for a floor test before 11th of July? Then what happens? Because at this point of time, from what we're picking up in terms of what the Supreme Court has to say, Uddhav Thackeray definitely is headed for a long legal battle. But in the interim, what if the Shinde camp pushes for a floor test? It all comes down to the numbers at the end of the day.
Well, if I can just, if you can hear me, Chaiti, the question is not just that whether the Shinde camp can push for a floor test. The question is also, do they have the legal validity to ask for a floor test? See, there we'll have to go into the
Sorry about the interruption. Let's go straight across. Sanjay Raut giving a first-up reaction after that Supreme Court hearing. Let's listen into what Sanjay Raut has to say. And if he's speaking in Marathi, I will be translating. So put the volume up, please. All right, Munish is with Sanjay Raut. Over to you.
शिव सेना के वरिष्ठ नेता और राज्यसभा एमपी संजय राउत साहब मौजूद हैं। राउत साहब, सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने बोला हुआ है कि 11 तारीख तक इस मामले को टाल दिया जाए और यह भी बोला है कि जितने भी 39 एमएलए हैं उनको सुरक्षा दी जाए।
अच्छी बात है। सुप्रीम कोर्ट का जो निर्णय होता है उसका हम आदर करते हैं। माय लॉर्ड, हमारे लिए सुप्रीम कोर्ट तो भगवान है। कानूनी लड़ाई है, दांव पेच होते रहते हैं, दोनों तरफ से होंगे, लेकिन पब्लिक राय, पब्लिक सेंटिमेंट महाराष्ट्र की बहुत अलग है। आप कोर्ट में जाएंगे, आप कानूनी दांव पेच करेंगे, लेकिन आपने देखा होगा कि महाराष्ट्रीय जनता उनको माफ नहीं करेगी। तो ठीक है, कोर्ट से जो निर्णय लेना है। अभी 11 तारीख तक तो लंबा खिंच गया मामला, तो 11 तारीख तक तो कोई विश्वास मत का रेजोल्यूशन नहीं आ सकता है उसमें, तो तब तक ये लोग गुवाहाटी में रहेंगे। मुझे मालूम नहीं कहाँ रहेंगे। और सुरक्षा तो पूरी है उनको सरकार की, अभी केंद्र ने भी दी है। कश्मीरी पंडितों को सुरक्षा नहीं है, लेकिन उनको सुरक्षा है।
ये जो 11 तारीख तक पूरा का पूरा मामला टल गया है, क्या ये आप लोगों के लिए अच्छी खबर है?
देखिए, अच्छी या बुरी की बात नहीं है। जो किया है ये लोगों ने, बहुत बुरी खबर है। जो हमारे एमएलए वहां चले गए बिना वजह, वो बुरी खबर है। अभी कानून के आप एक बार न्यायालय में जाते हो तो ये चलता रहेगा, तारीख पे तारीख वो चलता रहेगा।
ये जो समय मिला है, क्या उसमें आप लोगों की कोशिश रहेगी कि जो बागी एमएलएज हैं उनसे कोई बातचीत की जाए, कोई रणनीति तैयार की जाए? क्योंकि आप लोग जो समय मिला है उसका फायदा उठाने की कोशिश करेंगे, अगर मैं गलत नहीं हूं तो।
नहीं, देखो, कोशिश तो जरूर करेंगे। आज भी हमारे संपर्क में लोग हैं वहां से। जब मुंबई में आने की कोशिश करेंगे तो उनसे ठीक डायलॉग हो सकता है हमारा। अभी तो 1 सेकंड के लिए, 2 सेकंड के लिए हमें मैसेज मिलता है कि हमको बात करना है, हमको यहाँ से छुड़ा दो। मुंबई में आएंगे तो यहाँ का माहौल, यहाँ की हवा, यहाँ का पानी, सब कुछ अलग है।
मैंने हवा पानी तो अलग है। एक और सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने कहा हुआ है कि 11 तारीख तक जिन एमएलएस को नोटिस गई थी डिस्क्वालीफाई करने के लिए, 16 एमएलएस को, उनको डिस्क्वालीफाई न किया जाए।
अच्छी बात है, लेकिन 11 तारीख के बाद तो करना ही पड़ेगा। मौत आज आप टाल सकते हो, कभी ना कभी तो ये क्रिया प्रक्रिया होने वाली है ना। जो 12 एमएलएज है जिसके ऊपर ये तलवार लटकी है डिस्क्वालिफिकेशन की, वो हटेगी नहीं, मैं आपको दावे के साथ कहता हूँ।
चलिए, बड़ी बात कही आपने। एकनाथ शिंदे के जो वकील हैं, उन्होंने कोर्ट के सामने आज, सुप्रीम कोर्ट के सामने आज उन्होंने दावा किया कि दरअसल वो मुंबई इसके लिए नहीं जा रहे हैं या फिर बॉम्बे हाई कोर्ट इसके लिए नहीं गए क्योंकि उनकी जान को खतरा है। आपने एक बयान दिया हुआ था, उसको भी उन्होंने कहा कि आपने कहा कि 40 लोगों की जो बॉडी है वो वहां से आएगी, तो उस पर क्या कहेंगे आप?
देखो, ये तो बहुत हिम्मत वाले लोग हैं। शिवसेना में बगावत कर दी वो लोगों ने और भाग गए, तो डर किस बात की है? अगर आपको समर्थन है, आपके साथ लोग हैं, तो डरने की और भागने की जरूरत नहीं है। बात रही मेरे वक्तव्य की, मेरे वक्तव्य तोड़मोड़ करो, उसका सब न्यायालय में बता रहे हैं कि मैंने इतना ही कहा कि जो लोग 40 लोग वहां गए हैं वो सिर्फ शरीर उनका चल रहा है, बाकी तो उनका आत्मा मर गया है। ऐसे मरे हुए लोगों को क्या मुंबई में हम स्वागत करेंगे? वो तो सिर्फ जिंदा लाशें यहाँ आएगी। इतना ही मैंने कहा है।
राउत साहब, एक और बड़ी डेवलपमेंट हुई है आज। ईडी ने आपको समन किया हुआ है एक मामले में, प्रिवेंशन ऑफ मनी लॉन्ड्रिंग एक्ट के तहत। क्या आपको अंदेशा था? क्योंकि आपने पिछले कुछ बयानों में आपने लगातार कहा था कि सेंट्रल एजेंसीज का मिसयूज हो रहा है। क्या आपको लगता है?
ये अभी जो मुझे नोटिस आया वो मिसयूज ही है ना। मेरे जैसा है, मैंने कभी मनी लॉन्ड्रिंग या क्या है सब पैसों का खेल कभी किया नहीं। ठीक है, आप भेज दीजिए, मुझे मालूम है कहाँ से इंस्ट्रक्शन जाता है, क्यों जाता है। जो चल रहा है महाराष्ट्र में, उनमें एक मैं फ्रंट पर हूँ मेरी पार्टी के लिए, बाला साहब ठाकरे जी की पार्टी के लिए, महाराष्ट्र के लिए। तो मेरा आवाज बंद कर दो। और देखिए, मेरा आवाज आप बंद नहीं कर सकते। आप ईडी की नोटिस भेज दीजिए या मेरी गर्दन उड़ा दो, मैं गुवाहाटी से रास्ते से नहीं निकलूंगा, मैं यहाँ ही रहूंगा मेरी पार्टी के साथ। आप इतनी भी कोशिश करो, मैं मर जाऊंगा, लेकिन आपने मेरे खिलाफ ईडी लगाया, सीबीआई लगाया, मैं जेल जाऊंगा ना। आप मुझे अरेस्ट कर सकते हो, अभी मैं बैठा हूँ शिवसेना भवन में, आप आइए, अरेस्ट करो, मुझे बुलाओ, कब आना है, मैं जाऊंगा।
गिरफ्तार होने के लिए आप तैयार हैं?
डेफिनेटली, क्यों नहीं। अगर आप गलत तरीके से कुछ करना चाहते हो मेरी पार्टी को खत्म करने के लिए, और उसके लिए आपको मेरा बलि देना है, बलि चढ़ाना है। हजारों लोग हमारे शिवसेना में इस तरह से उनका बलिदान है इस पार्टी के लिए। हजारों लोग हैं हमारे, चाहे 1992 का दंगा हो, जो बाबरी वाला, उससे पहले हो 1969, अभी बाद में अनेक बहुत से मोमेंट में हमारे लोग मारे गए। तो एक हमारी बलि चढ़ गई, तो उसमें बड़ी बात क्या है? करने दो।
राउत साहब, मैं एक सवाल पूछना चाहूंगा आपसे कि जो आप इशारा कर रहे हैं, क्या आपको लगता है कि इस वक्त जो राजनीतिक हलचल चल रही है महाराष्ट्र के, उसके वजह से आपको ये ईडी का समन इस वक्त आया हुआ है?
डेफिनेटली, उसके वजह से आ रहा है। वडोदरा में एक मीटिंग हो गई, उस मीटिंग में कौन था सबको मालूम है। रात के अंधेरे में मीटिंग हो, वहां से इंस्ट्रक्शन दिया गया संजय राउत का आवाज बंद करो। वो अपनी पार्टी और सरकार और महाराष्ट्र को बचाने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं। उसके बाद ये नोटिस आ गई। ये गलत सब तरीके से, मैं तो ये जो मामला कुछ मैं देख रहा हूं, मुझे मालूम भी नहीं है क्या है। ज्यादा से ज्यादा आप क्या करोगे, मैं बार बार बोलता हूं, जेल में डालोगे और गोली मार दोगे हरिन पंड्या की तरह, उसके लिए मैं तैयार हूं। लेकिन इतना आसान नहीं है। जो भी लोग के गलत काम करने जा रहे हैं वो अफसर और उनको आदेश देने वाले लोग, उनको उसकी कीमत चुकानी पड़ेगी। मुझे मालूम है अफसर कौन है, मैं नाम भी ले सकता हूं, लेकिन इतना आसान नहीं है। हमारे जैसे लोगों को खत्म करके आप देश को खत्म करेंगे। आप अपोजिशन खत्म करने जा रहे हो। आप किसके लिए काम कर रहे हो? आप देश के लिए काम करो, आप डेमोक्रेसी के लिए काम करो, आप कानून के लिए काम करो। आप किसी के गुलाम होकर मत काम करिए। अगर आप करना चाहते हो तो ठीक है, आज आपको टेम्पररी जीत मिलेगी, लेकिन ये देश और देश का आत्मा बहुत पवित्र है, समझ लीजिए आप। ये मेरा आह्वान है उस लोगों से जो गलत काम करने जा रहे हैं किसी के लिए।
सर, आपके समन की खबर चीफ मिनिस्टर को भी मिली होगी, उद्धव ठाकरे जी को मिली होगी, क्या वो आपके सपोर्ट में है, पूरी पार्टी सपोर्ट में?
आपके सामने उनका फोन आया था, आपने देखा होगा। मुझे और भी 4 राज्यों के मुख्यमंत्री का फोन आया आज, और भी नेताओं का फोन चल रहा है, सबका फोन आ रहा है कि हम आपके साथ हैं। सबको मालूम है गलत है। संजय राउत क्या है, उनके साथ आप कितना भी गलत करो, कितने भी गलत एंट्री बनाओ, गलत डॉक्यूमेंट्स बनाओ, लेकिन मैं झुकूंगा नहीं, मरूंगा मैं।
कल आपकी एक पब्लिक रैली भी है, तो जो इस तरह के राजनीतिक हलचल के बीच में जो आपका शेड्यूल है, क्या आपके पास मुमकिन होगा कि आप ईडी के सामने पेश हो पाएं कल?
देखिए, कल तो मैं नहीं पेश हो सकता हूं, मैं ऑफिशियली उनसे समय मांगूंगा। राज्यसभा का भी सेशन शुरू होगा, तो मैं उनसे जरूर, ऐसा है कि एक हमारी एजेंसी है देश की, चाहे वो कुछ भी गलत करे, लेकिन हम उसका रिस्पेक्ट करेंगे। हमको मालूम है गलत करने जा रहे हैं, फिर भी एक देश की ऐसी एजेंसी है, उसका रिस्पेक्ट करना चाहिए। उसका कागज जो आया है उसका रिस्पेक्ट करना चाहिए, तो मैं करूंगा और उनसे समय मांगूंगा। अगर समय देता है तो ठीक है, नहीं तो जाऊंगा मैं।
एकनाथ शिंदे ने एक पत्र के जरिए बयान दिया कि आप दरअसल एनसीपी के बहुत ज्यादा करीबी हो गए हैं और एनसीपी जैसा चाहती है वैसा आप करते हैं, ना कि शिवसेना।
देखिए, मैं एक शिव सैनिक हूँ बाला साहब ठाकरे जी का। 30 साल मैं बाला साहब के साथ काम किया है, उद्धव जी के साथ काम किया। मेरा जन्म शिवसेना में हुआ है। एकनाथ शिंदे से मुझे शिवसेना कोई अभ्यास करने की जरूरत नहीं है। अगर आप वो सच्चे शिव सैनिक होते तो पार्टी छोड़कर नहीं जाते। उनकी जो समस्या है वो लेकर पार्टी में संघर्ष करते रहे थे, जैसे हम भी करते हैं बहुत बार। शरद पवार साहब इस देश के राज्य के बड़े नेता है, बाला साहब ठाकरे के करीबी मित्र भी रहे हैं, मददगार है सबके। कौन से परिस्थिति में ये सरकार बनी है ये शिंदे जी को मालूम है। शिंदे जी हमारे मित्र है और उसी एनसीपी सपोर्टेड गवर्नमेंट में शिंदे जी को बड़े बड़े पोर्टफोलियो मिले हैं। अगर आपको ये नहीं पसंद था तो आप मिनिस्ट्री में नहीं जाना चाहिए थे, कैबिनेट में पहले दिन इस्तीफा देना चाहिए। मुझे पसंद नहीं है, क्या हम एनसीपी के साथ जा रहे हो? अगर आप इस सरकार में मुख्यमंत्री बना देते तो आप तो बहुत खुश होते। तो ये बातें छोड़ देनी चाहिए।
एक आखिरी सवाल मैं पूछना चाहूंगा आपसे कि जिस तरह की हलचल हुई, आपने एक जिक्र भी किया कि वडोदरा में एक मीटिंग हुई थी। क्या आपको ऐसा लगता है कि एकनाथ शिंदे जो हैं वो बीजेपी के साथ मिलकर सरकार बनाना चाहते हैं बागी एमएलएस के साथ में? क्या इस तरह की जानकारी आपके पास में?
उनको बीजेपी के साथ ही सरकार बनानी पड़ेगी ना, और किसके साथ बनाएंगे? उनको बीजेपी में मर्ज होना पड़ेगा। कानून तो यही कहता है, एंटी डिफेक्शन। और इसलिए जो भी शिवसेना के लिए सामने आकर लड़ेंगे, बात करेंगे, स्वाभिमान की बात करेंगे, उनको जेल में डालो, उनके पीछे एजेंसी लगाइए, यही मामला चलेगा। खुद एकनाथ शिंदे को एजेंसी ने डरा धमका कर वहां भेज दिया है, मैं आपको बताना चाहता हूं, सबको मालूम है।
आपकी कल सभा है, उसके अलावा हम देख रहे हैं कि आदित्य ठाकरे भी लगातार लोगों से मिल रहे हैं, उद्धव ठाकरे भी अब पब्लिक के बीच में जा रहे हैं। क्या रणनीति है? क्या पब्लिक के बीच में?
हम तो पब्लिक में ही जाएंगे ना। ये एमएलए भाग गए उसका मतलब पब्लिक ने हमको छोड़ा नहीं है ना। एमएलए चले गए होंगे, पब्लिक नहीं चली गई। पब्लिक जनता हमारे साथ है, शिवसेना के साथ है, तीर कमान के साथ है, भगवा के साथ है, वो हमारे साथ रहेगी।
एक ट्वीट किया था सुबह आपने, और आपका एक बयान काफी फेमस हुआ कि आप अपने बाप का इस्तेमाल का नाम करो, हमारे बाप के नाम का इस्तेमाल मत करो। उस ट्वीट के जरिए क्या संदेश था आपका?
ये तो उद्धव ठाकरे जी का बयान है। हमने समर्थन किया है कि वो जो लोग बैठे हैं वो कहते कि शिवसेना हमारी है, बाला साहब ठाकरे हमारे हैं, आप बाला साहब के नाम पर वापस वोट मांगेंगे। तो उद्धव जी ने कहा कि आप शिवसेना का जो बाप है, आपने शिवसेना छोड़ चुके आप लोग, तो आप अपने बाप के नाम के ऊपर वोट मांगो, हमारा बाप का नाम का क्यों इस्तेमाल करते हो?
आखिरी सवाल पूछूंगा मैं आपसे। हाल फिलहाल में आपकी बातचीत हुई होगी उद्धव ठाकरे जी से, उसके अलावा शरद पवार जी से। क्या कुछ हलचल चल रही है शिवसेना के अंदर में? उद्धव ठाकरे जी की क्या रणनीति है, शरद पवार जी की क्या रणनीति है, कितना सपोर्ट है, इसके बारे में अगर आप थोड़ा सा विस्तार में बता पाएं तो।
देखिए, बात रणनीति की नहीं है, बात ये है कि सरकार बचानी है, कानून की लड़ाई चलती रहेगी। सबसे पहले पार्टी को फिर एक बार ऊर्जा देनी है। चाहे एनसीपी है, एनसीपी अपना काम करेगी। शिवसेना एक केडर बेस्ड पार्टी है, गांव-गांव में शिवसैनिक है, केडर बहुत बड़ा है। सत्ता की परवाह हम कभी करते नहीं, सत्ता आती है, सत्ता चली जाती है, संगठन रहना चाहिए, बस उसका ऊपर काम चल रहा है।
बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया हमसे बात करने के लिए और समय निकालने के लिए। कैमरामैन शगुन के साथ मुनीश पांडे, मुंबई, आज तक।
All right, that was the big interview and the news-defining interview of Munish Pandey with Sanjay Raut, and a clear picture now emerging on where the Uddhav camp stands, because you heard it from Sanjay Raut exclusively speaking to India Today. Our non-stop coverage continues. We are getting some more breaking news coming in, but I'm going to have to take a break and bring you that breaking news in just moments from now. So hang in there. In just moments from now, joining you back again.
You are watching India Today.
Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com or call 9999892171. Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices.
You are watching India. You are watching India Today.
Big setback to Uddhav government. Supreme Court puts the disqualification of rebels on hold till 11th of July. Maharashtra government asked to ensure the security of the rebels. Amidst the Maharashtra Sena tussle, Enforcement Directorate piles up heat on Uddhav's chief troubleshooter. Sena MP Sanjay Raut has been summoned by the Enforcement Directorate watchdog over a land scam. Boosted by the support of 39 Sena MLAs, the Shinde Sena stages a big show of strength in the Thane stronghold. Says Uddhav, with just 16 MLAs, is leading a minority government.
बात नहीं है, ये लोगों को जो चाहिए वो महाराष्ट्र के जो लोगों को चाहिए, जनता को चाहिए, वो जो है वो आज एकनाथ शिंदे साहब के नेतृत्व में जो है वो सभी एमएलए लोग.
After NDA's Draupadi Murmu, opposition's Yashwant Sinha files nomination for president's post, flanked by the top opposition faces, but numbers clearly stacked against him. The breaking news is about Sanjay Raut not going to be appearing before the Enforcement Directorate tomorrow. He's going to be skipping the summons by the Enforcement Directorate. And the reason because he has a scheduled rally in Alibag tomorrow. Can he do that? Big questions are rising. Let's get Munish Pandey on the story for more. But Sanjay Raut has decided to not appear before the Enforcement Directorate summons tomorrow, as he has a scheduled rally in Alibag tomorrow. Listen into what Sanjay Raut had to say. All right, we'll play that out for you in just a moment from now. Anisha Mathur is now joining us live, who's on top of this particular story. Anisha, the big story coming in is about Sanjay Raut skipping summons for the Alibag rally. Point number one, can he really do this? Number two, even the Uddhav camp at this point of time is continuously questioning the timing of this particular summons to Sanjay Raut. Over to you.
So what does today's hearing mean for Maharashtra?
I'll start with Marathi.
So can we get English time?
आज माननीय सर्वोच्च न्यायालयाने आज त्यांच्या या सुनावणी दरम्यान
The hearing was there in the Supreme Court today.
पिटिशन बंडखोर आमदारांनी केली होती त्यावर
On the
हे
petition,
करताना
on the disqualification of the
सुनावणी
MLAs.
आता पुन्हा आर्ग्युमेंटसाठी 12 जुलै
He's saying 12th July is the next date of hearing, but our information says 11 July. So there's a clarification right there I want to just give to our viewers.
आणि ही सुनावणी म्हणजे जे डिस्क्वालिफिकेशन आमदारांचं डिस्क्वालिफिकेशनच्या बाबतीमध्ये ज्या नोटीसला हे केलं होतं तर त्या बाबतीमध्ये ही तारीख दिलेली आहे.
This is the date given for the hearing of the disqualification of the MLAs.
या दरम्यान एवढी मोठी कारण त्यांनी समोरून अशी मागणी केली कारण आम्ही हे करताना आणि 1-2 दिवसाची मुदत या डिस्क्वालिफिकेशनच्या संदर्भात त्या निलंबित किंवा ज्या आमदारांवर ही कारवाई होणार आहे त्या आमदारांसाठी आणि 2 दिवसाची मुदत देऊ अशा आमच्या वकिलांनी आर्ग्युमेंट केलं.
Our lawyers have asked for 2 more days.
त्यांचं अवेलेबिलिटी वगैरे ह्या गोष्टी सगळ्या हे करून
We've all discussed the availability and all of that.
आता ज्या पद्धतीनं या गोष्टी होत गेल्या एवढ्या लांब तारखांमध्ये, तर त्या दरम्यान आमच्या वकिलांनी अशा प्रकारचं हे केलं की या मधल्या काळामध्ये कुठची अशी अनलॉफुल किंवा अशी गोष्ट होऊ नये. ज्या वेळेला तुम्ही आम्हाला 11 तारखेचं हे देत आहे त्यावेळेला समोरच्या बाजूने कुठंतरी अनलॉफुल गोष्ट होऊ नये.
Nothing all unlawful should take place till 18th of July. Till 18th of July, our request is nothing unlawful should take place.
व्यवस्थित लीगल याच्या गोष्टी हे ठेवून
We have requested the other side to follow due process of the law and do not flout the law.
अशा प्रकारचं हे केलं की असं जर पुढचं काय हे पाऊल कोण टाकत असेल समोरून तर मग इथं तुम्ही पिटिशनर म्हणून येऊ शकता आणि पिटिशनर म्हणून आल्यानंतर आम्ही कायदेशीर सनदशीर मार्गाने आपल्याला सुद्धा इथे याच्यामध्ये न्याय मिळेल, न्याय देऊ.
We want justice following the law of the land and due process of the law and not to flout any law.
महत्त्वाची गोष्ट म्हणजे हे जे आमचे बंडखोर आमदार आहेत यामधले जवळजवळ 20 आमदार हे संपर्कात आहेत आणि कुठेही असं पाऊल कोणी हे करायचा प्रयत्न केला तर निश्चितपणे महाविकास आघाडी सरकारच्या आणि शिवसेनेच्या बाजूने त्यांचं मतदान हे शिवसेनेच्या बाजूने होईल अशी आम्हाला खात्री आहे. अर्थात शिवसेना पक्षप्रमुख आदरणीय मुख्यमंत्री उद्धवजी ठाकरे यांनी अशा प्रकारचं कुठचंही हे केलेलं नाही आहे. जे काही अशा प्रकारे काही कारणांमुळे प्रवृत्त केले गेले ते जर परत येत आहेत तर त्यांना नक्कीच घेऊ. आदित्यजी ठाकरे स्वतःहून अशा प्रकारच्या याच्यासाठी अगदी तयार आहेत. त्यामुळे कुठेही हे नाही आहे आणि त्यांची स्वतःची सुद्धा इच्छा आहे. त्यामुळे ही लोक येतील खात्री.
They truly want their own MLAs to come back and they are in touch with them. Aditya Thackeray himself also wants that. Uddhav Thackeray also wants that.
See, in the hearing which took place today in the Honorable Supreme Court, the verdict or the interim order which has been given, that is for the argument will continue on 11th of July. The long rope which was argued, I mean, when the disqualification proceedings are on, and only 2 days' time was given was too short, as was said by observed by the court, and then our counsel did argue on that count. If that notice is too short, we will extend it by another 2 days, 4 days, whatever. So from the other side, it was argued that little more time be given, and that was considered by the Honorable Court, and Supreme Court has given date of it is given for kept for argument on 11th of July. Now, having said that having given that kind of long rope, we from our counsel we insisted that in the meantime, if any unlawful step is contemplated from the other side, that should be preempted, that should be stopped, that should not be allowed. On that, different facets were considered, different arguments, different conjectures were expressed from both sides, and the Honorable Court has assured that if that be the case, then immediately you can approach as a petitioner to this very Honorable Court, and Honorable Court will ensure that no unlawful step or anything in between will be allowed.
Shiv Sena also filed disqualification petition for other MLAs.
Yeah, the process which has been set by our councils will continue. And in the meantime, despite all this, there are around more than 20 MLAs, those who have purportedly are not on the scene. They are in very much contact with the party leadership, and all this thing, it is 100% sure that if time be, when they come, whenever they come in the house, they will vote in favor of MVA alliance and they will be voting for Shiv Sena.
सर एक महत्त्वाचा प्रश्न आहे एक महत्त्वाचा प्रश्न आहे राज्यपालांना पत्र पाठवणारे एकनाथ शिंदे यांचा गट आणि सत्ता स्थापनेचा दावा करणारे याबद्दल काय म्हणाल?
Will you be taking disqualification action against the other MLAs as well?
See, process which is there as per the direction of the honorable court, we will be following that.
ऑर्डर को कैसे देखते हैं आप सर?
That needs to be seen. Even things are open, and as far as honorable Supreme Court has assured us, we will be going by that.
सर आज के आदेश को शिवसेना कैसे देखती है, किस तरह से?
आज का जो आदेश ऑनरेबल सुप्रीम कोर्ट का आया हुआ है उसमें उन्होंने ये आर्गुमेंट्स जो डिस्क्वालिफिकेशन का जो प्रोसीजर है वो डिस्क्वालिफिकेशन का प्रोसीजर उन्होंने आर्ग्यू किया कि हमको ये 48 घंटे बहुत ही कम थे, 48 घंटों में हम क्या रिप्लाई देंगे। बहुत सारी आर्गुमेंट हुई, कोर्ट ने ये भी कहा तो हमने कहा, हमारे काउंसिल ने कहा हम और 2 दिन का समय देते हैं, 2 दिन का नहीं तो 3 दिन का देंगे। तो उन्होंने वहाँ से आर्ग्यू किया कि हम ज़्यादा दिन चाहते हैं, तो सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने दोनों बातों को टटोल के 11 तारीख का अवसर दिया है। और 11 तारीख का जो अवसर दिया उस दरमियान हमारे काउंसिल ने ये कहा कि ये इतनी लंबी जो आपने समय दिया है उस दौरान अगर कुछ इस तरह की कानून को छोड़ के गैर कानूनी कुछ बातें होती है, कुछ ऐसी स्टेप ली जाती है सामने, तो उसके लिए अटकाव कैसे करेंगे, उसको कैसे रोकेंगे, क्योंकि ये जाहिर है हमने वो ऑनरेबल कोर्ट का ये जो ऑर्डर दिया है वो हमने माना है। और सामने अगर इस तरह से होता है तो कोर्ट ने एश्योर किया अगर कुछ ऐसी बातें होती है, ऐसी अटकलें होती है तो आप यहाँ पे पिटिशनर के तहत आप यहाँ पे आएंगे और आपको ज़रूर इसमें न्याय मिलेगा।
एकनाथ शिंदे ने अपनी पिटीशन ली है।
So this was Anil Desai of the Shiv Sena, who has said that the Shiv Sena is in touch with at least 20 of the MLAs, and they believe that those MLAs will come back to the fold of the Uddhav Thackeray faction and vote according to what the party is saying. They're also saying that in the meantime there should be no untoward or unlawful action undertaken by any person, which means that they are saying that if there is any floor test that is forced by the other side or by any person, they will be coming back to the Supreme Court to challenge that.
And you know, this is exactly what we were talking about, Anisha. We were talking about exactly this in terms of the fact that there is the possibility that the Shinde Sena might just push for a floor test at this point of time. But Anil Desai really ended up saying that we're in touch with 20 of their own MLAs. Only a floor test can decide that. But if there is a floor test, they will be contesting it, which also shows that they are on a losing wicket. Because you cannot be scared of a floor test if you don't have the MLAs on your side.
Well, Chaudhary, the question of whether there can be or will be a floor test is something that even we just heard Anil Desai. I specifically asked him that what happens if there is a floor test, what happens, what does this order really mean for the Maharashtra politics? He is sticking to a very short answer. He's saying that if there is anything, then we'll come back to the court, because we have been assured that if there is any unlawful action, that we can come back to the court, which means that if there is a floor test forced by any other side, then the Uddhav Thackeray faction will be the next to knock on the doors of the Supreme Court. As far as the numbers game itself is concerned, it is very clear that at the moment both sides are claiming to have the support of MLAs. Since the Shinde faction is claiming that they have 39 MLAs, they have been saying that any action against that they should be put under protection, under police protection. Their families and property should also be protected. On the other side, of course, we just heard Anil Desai saying that 20 MLAs are in touch with the party leadership, with the Uddhav Thackeray faction, and they will be voting for the Uddhav Thackeray faction in this if and when the floor test could come up. At the same time, we are going to have to consider what happens on the floor of the House if this matter comes up. At the moment, that is not something that either side seems to be very keen on. Chaudhary, from the sound of the averments in the court, it seems like the Thackeray faction as well as the Shinde faction are trying to consolidate their numbers right now, as both sides
That is exactly the point. That is exactly the point. There are two parts to this story, the way it pans out, Anisha. One is legality in terms of what the Supreme Court has to say in the next hearing, which is on 11th, is also going to be deciding the fate of a lot of it. And the other part is the numbers. Who's got the numbers? If there is a floor test that comes up, then who really has the numbers? Just stay on with us right there, Anisha. This is great perspective. Breaking news that is coming in right now is about Sanjay Raut not to appear before the ED tomorrow. Remember, he's got a summons from the Enforcement Directorate. He is now scheduled a rally in Alibag tomorrow, and Sanjay Raut says he's not going to be appearing in front of the ED tomorrow. There are also questions at the same time being raised about why is it that Sanjay Raut has got a summons from the ED at this point of time. The questions being raised by the Uddhav Thackeray camp continuously questioning the timing of this notice of the Enforcement Directorate. But news coming in right now, there is ED heat on Sanjay Raut. Sanjay Raut has decided to skip the Enforcement Directorate summons because he's got a scheduled rally in Alibag tomorrow. Listen in to what Sanjay Raut has to say.
ये अभी जो मुझे नोटिस आया वो मिसयूज ही है ना. मेरे जैसा है, मैंने कभी मनी लॉन्ड्रिंग या क्या है सब पैसों का खेल कभी किया नहीं. ठीक है, भेज दीजिए. मुझे मालूम है कहाँ से इंस्ट्रक्शन जाता है, क्यों जाता है. जो चल रहा है महाराष्ट्र में उनमें एक मैं फ्रंट पर हूँ मेरी पार्टी के लिए, बाला साहब ठाकरे जी की पार्टी के लिए, महाराष्ट्र के लिए. तो मेरा आवाज़ बंद कर दो. और देखिए, मेरा आवाज़ आप बंद नहीं कर सकते. आप ईडी की नोटिस भेज दीजिए या मेरी गर्दन उड़ा दो. मैं गुवाहाटी से रास्ते से नहीं निकलूँगा. मैं यहाँ ही रहूँगा मेरी पार्टी के साथ. आप जितनी भी कोशिश करो, मैं मर जाऊँगा. लेकिन आपने मेरे खिलाफ ईडी लगाया, सीबीआई लगाया, मैं जेल जाऊँगा ना. आप मुझे अरेस्ट कर सकते हो. अभी मैं बैठा हूँ शिव सेना भवन में. आप आइए, अरेस्ट करो, मुझे बुलाओ कब आना है, मैं जाऊँगा.
गिरफ्तार होने के लिए आप तैयार हैं?
डेफिनेटली, क्यों नहीं. अगर आप गलत तरीके से कुछ करना चाहते हो मेरी पार्टी को खत्म करने के लिए, और उसके लिए आपको मेरा बलि देना है, बलि चढ़ाना है. हजारों लोग हमारे शिवसेना में इस तरह से उनका बलिदान है इस पार्टी के लिए. हजारों लोग हैं हमारे. चाहे 1992 का दंगा हो, जो बाबरी वाला, उससे पहले हो 1969, अभी बाद में अनेक बहुत से मोमेंट में हमारे लोग मारे गए. तो एक हमारी बलि चढ़ गई तो उसमें बड़ी बात क्या है. करने दो.
All right, you can hear that exclusive conversation of Sanjay Raut with my colleague Munish Pandey as far as the entire Maharashtra political crisis is concerned. And the breaking news is about the Enforcement Directorate summons to Sanjay Raut. On one hand, you've got the Uddhav Sena questioning the timing of the summons to the Enforcement Directorate. And this is the questions they're continuously raising. Why now? Why is the summons being issued right now in the middle of this political crisis? The other issue is on what the ED summons is all about on the Patra Chawl land scam. And that is something that Munish will be able to throw some light on in just about a bit when he gets patched on to this broadcast as well. In the interim, the news that we are breaking for you viewers is that Sanjay Raut has decided to skip the summons issued to him by the Enforcement Directorate. Instead, he is going ahead with his scheduled rally in Alibag tomorrow. So despite the ED summons, Sanjay Raut will be skipping the Enforcement Directorate summons tomorrow. Shiv Sena, which is the Uddhav Sena, continuously questioning the timing of this Enforcement Directorate summons as well to Sanjay Raut at the same time. But the fact of the matter here, viewers, is that there is Enforcement Directorate heat on Sanjay Raut as we speak. Raut has alleged the misuse of central agencies as well as he skips the ED summons tomorrow. But he is also in the same breath gone ahead and told Munish, I'm ready to get arrested if I have to. I am the true Uddhav Sena. I stand for the Uddhav Sena, which is the real Balasaheb Thackeray Sena. And I'm willing to give my life away for the Sena as well. And we will continue to work for the people of Maharashtra no matter what. That is exactly what Sanjay Raut has said at this point of time. We'll also get our reporters to join us in short moments from now For more on this particular story, do we have Manish Pandey?
लोकशाही के जो खिलाफ चल रहा है, ये आप देख रहे हो, ये तो सर्कस बन गया है पूरा। जो भगा के लेके गए हैं, कैसे गए हैं पता नहीं।
उद्धव जी के मन में इस वक्त क्या चल रहा है?
मुझे लगता है उनके मन में यही है कि लोगों की सेवा कैसे करते रहे। आज भी जो निर्णय उन्होंने, तो उनको भागने की जरूरत नहीं होती। दूसरी चीज, जो भगा के लेके गए हैं, उनको मैं यही कह रहा हूँ, क्योंकि ये 15-16 लोग हमारे संपर्क में हैं। उन्होंने कहा कि जैसे मुंबई में उनका आना होगा साथ में
पलटेगी जब वो मुंबई में आएंगे।
बिल्कुल, क्योंकि यही बात है कि उनको सेना में रहना है। जो जिसे नहीं रहना है, वो गट तो बना नहीं सकते। उनको एक तो डिस्क्वालीफाई होना है, या फिर भाजपा में या कहीं जाना है, तो वो उनकी बात हुई। लेकिन जो भी आना चाहते हैं, उनके लिए दरवाजे खुले हैं।
चलिए, बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया सर। आदित्य ठाकरे ने बड़ी बात कही है यहाँ पर रेबल ग्रुप के लिए, बागी ग्रुप के लिए, और कहा है कि अगर बागी ग्रुप वापस आना चाहता है तो उनके लिए दरवाजे एकदम खुले हैं। ये कहा कि मुख्यमंत्री उद्धव ठाकरे सिर्फ लोगों की सेवा करना चाहते हैं। कैमरा पर्सन महेश मोरे के साथ पंकज उपाध्याय, मुंबई, आज तक।
And this is a stance that has been taken by Aditya Thackeray. While I was translating him just a little while back as well, he says, I'm going to continue to work for the people. He says the Uddhav Thackeray government is going to continue to work for the people no matter what goes on. And this is a political circus which is going on. We will face them head on. We're also in touch with 20 of the rebel MLAs as well. Questions arising on just moments when they come to Mumbai and face the Uddhav Sena camp face to face, meet eye to eye. And this has been the constant stance of the Uddhav Thackeray government. In fact, if you saw Aditya Thackeray right now, he did mention it doesn't matter. He says that I want to work for the people of Maharashtra, and the Uddhav Thackeray camp will continue to work for the people of Maharashtra. That was the first up reaction of Aditya Thackeray. The big power tussle getting bigger and bigger, and constant breaking news that is coming in at this point of time. It's a fast-moving coverage we're bringing to you on India Today. Shinde, Sena likely to withdraw support to the MVA. Manish Pandey is joining us. Manish, you just had that super exclusive conversation with Sanjay Raut, where Sanjay Raut did end up mentioning that he's even willing to give up his life for the Shiv Sena of Patra Chawl's Shiv Sena. Now the question here is on the summons. He's been issued a summons. He's decided to skip the summons. Shiv Sena questions the timing of the summons. And number two, what is the Patra Chawl land scam all about for which he's been issued the summons? I'm throwing straight across to you for a better perspective.
Yeah, well, Chaitya, as far as the case against Mr. Sanjay Raut is concerned, this case is related to a person who is known to Mr. Sanjay Raut, that is Praveen Raut. He is a very close friend of Sanjay Raut. There was a land scam in which Praveen Raut was arrested. Later on, Sanjay Raut's wife was summoned by the Enforcement Directorate. She appeared, and then there was a property of Sanjay Raut which was attached by the Enforcement Directorate. And now Sanjay Raut has been asked to appear before the agency. But in the entire political circus, and Chaiti, you know very well about Shiv Sena and how they operate in Mumbai and Maharashtra. Shiv Sena is a party which has always been aggressive, at least in between public. Now, as far as Raut is concerned, when I spoke to him about the ED summons, what he told me is that there was a meeting in Vadodara, and in that meeting there was an instruction given to certain people that Sanjay Raut should be arrested. They have to make sure that his mouth is completely shut. That is what he told me. And what he is alleging, that the Enforcement Directorate is working on behest of the Bharatiya Janata Party and certain people, including the rebel MLAs. That is what he indicated during my interview. Now, as far as Raut is concerned, what he is saying, that if there are evidence against me, do come and arrest me. But if it is politically motivated, then also I am ready to be arrested. I am ready to die for Shiv Sena, Balasaheb Thackeray and Uddhav Thackeray. That is what he said. Apart from that, he also said that tomorrow he won't be appearing. That is a big statement, because ED summons were received by him this morning, and now what he is saying, that he won't be appearing before the Enforcement Directorate tomorrow because he has to appear, he has to make a public rally. He has a public meeting tomorrow in Alibag. So in overall, he won't be appearing tomorrow. There is an official letter which will be going from Sanjay Raut's office to ED office, asking and requesting that he should be given some more time. But as far as this political drama is concerned, Sanjay Raut has been a person who has been very open about central agencies. There have been several allegations against him, several allegations against the ED officials by
I'm
Sanjay
sorry
Raut.
about that interruption right there, Munish, but the big breaking news coming in is that the Shinde Sena is likely to stake claim of the original Sena and push for a no-trust vote. Continue to be on the story with us because this Maharashtra power tussle, Munish, is only and only getting bigger. Munish, what we're picking up right now is that the Shinde Sena will be withdrawing support likely to the MVA, in which case there will be a no-trust vote against the Mahavikas Aghadi. What are you making of that particular situation at this point of time?
Chaitya, this has been indicated by the Eknath Shinde camp in the affidavit, in the application which has been filed before the Supreme Court, in which they said that they are not supporting, these 39 MLAs are not supporting Mahavikas Aghadi, and this is a move which was expected by many in the political circle, that they may approach the governor with the letter of 39 people. Governor at that point of time, he was not well, he was COVID positive, but since yesterday he has resumed his office, so it is expected that they may move before the governor, saying that they have the 2/3 majority. So all the MLAs, Shiv Sena has 55 MLAs, they have 39 MLAs, that is more than 2/3 of MLAs. So the Vidhan Sabha party of Shiv Sena belongs to Eknath Shinde, and then they will be, there is a indication that they will be forming
Munish, if that is what they are claiming stake to, and that is what they are claiming stake to. We also had Priyanka Chaturvedi, who also ended up telling India Today that this is not going to be legally tenable for Eknath Shinde.
Yeah, well, there are legal hurdles, and yesterday there was a press conference by Shiv Sena MP Arvind Sawant along with their lawyer, and what lawyer said that even at this point of time, even if they claim that they have the 2/3 of majority, the rule doesn't permit them to claim or take stake of the entire Vidhan Sabha party. That is what he said, and he indicated that in the book of law, it is not legally possible to just give a letter with a signature of 39 people or 39 MLAs and say that now you have the majority. Now also there is an indication by the Uddhav Thackeray camp, what they are claiming also, and on camera Sanjay Raut also said that there are certain MLAs of Eknath Shinde camp who are already in touch with them. He also said that he has spoken to those MLAs over phone who are willing to come back to the Uddhav Thackeray camp. But these are allegations and cross allegations. If Eknath Shinde has support of 38 or 39 MLAs, Chaiti, one will ask the question that whether those MLAs will be confident or comfortable walking or parading in Mumbai. That is a bigger question. And Shiv Sena, they are making it very clear, and they have been saying again and again and again that once these MLAs are back to Mumbai, then there are some MLAs who will be joining the Uddhav Thackeray camp. So at this point of time, there is no clarity, but the move which is being indicated by the Eknath Shinde camp, that is going to be very important as far as the Maharashtra politics is concerned, and as far as the next government is concerned, and also for this current government.
You know, that is a great perspective right there. Munish, continue to be with us. I'm also being joined by Paulami Saha, who's joining us live from the Radisson Blu Hotel in Guwahati, and she's tracking all the developments as far as the Eknath Shinde camp is concerned, the Shinde Sena camp is concerned. Paulami, the big news coming in is that there is going to be a claim to claim the original Sena by the Shinde camp, to which the Uddhav Sena has already said that this is not going to be legally tenable. What are you picking up from your sources?
Chaiti, if the question is about the party's name
and the party symbol, that definitely is a matter that will rest before the Election Commission of India. Already, the Shiv Sena, especially when this group, the Eknath Shinde group, had in fact decided that they would like to call their faction Bala Sahib Shiv Sena, the Shiv Sena led by Aditya Thackeray preempted this and approached the Election Commission saying, we suspect that this is going to happen, that you will be approached by a group, but Bala Sahib's legacy, its name, the party's name, all of it belongs to the Shiv Sena. If there is any such move made before the Election Commission of India, we should be immediately intimated about the same so that we can file our response in that matter. So already the Shiv Sena has put in a petition before the Election Commission of India preempting that there could possibly be a move of this kind.
In the same breath, sorry about that interruption right there, Polemy, because this is a fast-moving story and we're trying to get as much information out to our viewers as possible. The Shinde faction is likely to approach the governor soon, is what we're picking up right now from our sources, to withdraw support from the NVA government and likely to push for a no-confidence motion against the Uddhav government. Now you're there. What are the murmurs that you're picking up on this front?
Well, this is exactly what we've been reporting about, Chaiti, since this morning, because that's what I learned from my sources within the camp as well. This is the next step. The next step is to go to the governor and say that we're pulling back support and throw this government into a situation where they have to, in fact, prove their majority and that indeed they have the numbers on the floor of the House. Now, the governor can, of course, call for a floor test. It remains to be seen, how things pan out after that, because, ironically, it's not, I'm not making some sort of a legal argument, but it's ironic that on the one hand, you say we have no confidence in the Deputy Speaker and seek his dismissal, but you trust the Deputy Speaker to conduct a floor test on the floor of the House. So that is going to be very interesting. Also, an interesting point that was made by the Supreme Court today, which said the Uddhav faction has the option to approach the Supreme Court if a floor test is forced.
Yes.
What the implications of that is remains to be seen. That is going to be extremely critical, because that is the little window which has been given to the Uddhav Thackeray faction as well. So while there is a stay on your disqualification proceedings till the 11th of June, you can't just swoop down and seek a floor test, because then the Uddhav faction can go to court and say, while you've stopped us from going ahead with the proceedings that we wanted to initiate, you're allowing them to go ahead and bring this government down from the back door. These are just arguments that I'm making, so that it's a very nuanced and a very balanced
you make a very important point here. So, Polemy, just to encapsulate for our viewers, number one, the next hearing is going to take place on the 11th, and until then, what they want is a restoration of the status quo, which is the Uddhav camp wants a restoration of the status quo. Their biggest fear at this point of time is a floor test, which is pressed by the Shinde camp. That is point number 2, and that is a big possibility, because Devdas Kamath has also asked the Supreme Court that what if there is a floor test? We want a status quo on that front. And now the news coming in is that Shinde faction will be approaching the governor soon to withdraw support from the MVA government. In which case, point number 4, what you just mentioned right now, in case that happens, the Uddhav Thackeray government has the option to go and approach the Supreme Court as well in case there is a floor test which is called for. But, we need to get a legal opinion then on what really happens, and hence I'm requesting our producers to get us a legal voice on this broadcast because everything is now boiling down to legality at this point of time. In the meanwhile, Polemy and Munish both continue to be with us. So, Polemy, at the moment, it's all going to be about the legal nuances, isn't it?
Absolutely, it's going to be about the legal nuances, and Chati, like you said, you have of course asked your producers to bring in some legal experts on that aspect. It would be interesting if we could get either Anisha and Nalini in on this as well, because how the court elaborated upon that particular point of the Uddhav faction being able to have that option to approach the Supreme Court if a floor test is forced is something that we need more clarity on. But clearly what it appears is that now they will be, of course, the Eknath Eknath Shinde camp will be, of course, seeking further legal advice, because this was the next step. Today, the only point that they wanted to achieve out of this hearing was a stay on their disqualification proceedings. They've been successful on getting that, and they've got a huge and a long window at that till the 11th of July. But this aspect of the order which has come in, which is about the other faction having the option to approach the court if a floor test is forced, throws a spanner in the works, really, because that is exactly what they wanted this window for, to be able to approach the governor immediately, withdraw support, throw this government into a situation where the governor orders a floor test and asks Uddhav Thackeray to prove his majority on the floor of the house. He's unable to prove that. They swoop down with the BJP and say, here are the numbers, we are in majority.
Yes, no, absolutely. And in the meanwhile, I'm requesting the producers once again, get us a legal voice, or get us Nalini, or get us Anisha to break this down legally for us. In the meanwhile, let me also take this across to Manish Pandey, who's tracking all the developments rather very closely. Manish, there was a window that came into the Shinde camp. It was advantage Shinde when the disqualification of those 16 MLAs was put on hold by the Supreme Court as well. At the same time, you've got, the Shinde camp likely to take advantage of that situation, push for a floor test in the interim, but Uddhav now can go ahead and contest this. It'll be very interesting to see how this all pans out legally, just in case a floor test is pushed for, because this is absolutely an opportunity for the Shinde camp at this point.
Jawal Chaiti, certainly at this point of time, Shinde camp has advantage because all these 16 rebel MLAs against whom a notice was served by the Deputy Speaker, at least at this point of time, it is clear that till July 11 they won't be disqualified. It is a huge advantage for Eknath Shinde camp. But at the very same time, all these three, at least two of the camps, Uddhav Thackeray camps and Eknath Shinde camp, they are aware that now the matter is before the Supreme Court. Any illegality or anything which is not according to the law, that is going to play out very bad for that particular camp.
Absolutely. Manish, I'm being told you need to be patched onto our sister channel, so I'm going to have to let you go at this point of time. But Manish was just giving us a perspective on the raging political turmoil which is unfolding by the minute in Maharashtra. That's exactly what Manish was bringing to us right now. Shiv Sena MP Sanjay Raut has been summoned by the Enforcement Directorate on Tuesday. This has been in connection with the Patra Chawl land scam case, which Manish just explained to us a little while back. Some of his properties had been attached by the Enforcement Directorate earlier, and reacting to the summons, Sena MP Sanjay Raut said that the Bala Saheb's Shiv Seniks were fighting a big battle and that there is a conspiracy now to stop him. He has further gone on to declare that even if they arrest him, he won't take the Guwahati route. In fact, you've got Shiv Sena MP Priyanka Chaturvedi, who has said that the Enforcement Directorate was now showing its true devotion towards the Bharatiya Janata Party. This has been their stance ever since the summon was issued. Earlier, the Enforcement Directorate has also attached properties worth 9 crore rupees related to Sanjay Raut's aide, Praveen Raut, and assets worth about 2 crore rupees, which are belonging to Sanjay Raut's wife, Varsha, in the 1,034 crore rupees Patra Chawl land scam case. The ED officials probing the Patra Chawl land scam case had found in February. Now, this is in February. We are right now in June. They found out in February that Praveen Raut, which is a close aide of Sanjay Raut, paid 55 lakh rupees from the proceeds of crime through his wife's account to Varsha. Varsha happens to be the wife of Sanjay Raut. The ED also said that hotel accommodation, tickets, all of this was booked for domestic as well as international travel of Sanjay Raut and people who were associated with him. So this is a new twist that is coming in at this point of time.
अशा प्रकारच्या कोणत्याही बनावट कारवाईने माझी मान कापली तरी मी गुवाहाटीला जाणार नाही, मी गुडघे टेकणार नाही, मी तुरुंगात जाणं पसंत करीन खोटा या अशा प्रकरणामध्ये. मला काही वेळ लागेल कारण या सगळ्या पक्षाच्या घडामोडी आहेत, त्यात मला वेळ द्यावा लागेल आणि काही उपरचे त्यांना मला अटक करून घेऊन द्यायचं असेल तेव्हा घेऊन जाऊ शकतात. जर दिल्लीतून तसा आदेश असेल भारतीय जनता पक्षाच्या नेत्यांकडे, महाराष्ट्रातल्या नेत्यांचा, की यांना अटक करा आणि घेऊन जा, तर ते मला घेऊन जाऊ शकतात कधी.
इस कार्रवाई को हम अन्यथा लेने के बजाय जिन्हें भी ईडी का समन्स आता है वे उन सवालों का जवाब दे. सवालों से यदि कोई छुपता है तो उसका स्पष्ट अर्थ यह है कि उनके हाथ कहीं ना कहीं काले हैं. जब पुख्ता कागजातों के आधार पर ईडी कार्रवाई करे तो उस कार्रवाई के साथ हम उसे सियासत क्यों जोड़े? क्या देश के लोग क्या चाहते हैं कि कोई बड़ा नेता है करके उस पर कार्रवाई नहीं हो?
ईडीचं समन्स आलेलं आहे.
हो का? मला पण आपल्याकडूनच कळलं. शुभेच्छा त्यांना.
And let's take this across to my colleague Gaurav Sawant, who was in conversation with Sena MP Priyanka Chaturvedi on Sanjay Raut's enforcement directorate summon. Here is what Priyanka Chaturvedi had to say on this. Listen in.
Priyanka Chaturvedi, the BJP says that the ED is doing its job. The enforcement directorate is not working on their orders. Respond, ma'am.
That's one of the biggest jokes I've heard since 2014, and history will tell you since 2014 which are the ED cases which have been activated, which are the ED cases which are being focused upon, and whether it's a coincidence or whether it's deliberate, you can answer that for yourself. The series of ED investigations that are being focused upon by the Enforcement Directorate are those of the opposition leaders. I also put a few names of few leaders who have now joined the BJP, the other side, whose cases have been closed, whose cases have no longer been investigated. So I can easily call ED the extended department of the Bharatiya Janata Party. I can also call them the extortionist department of the Bharatiya Janata Party, which is extorting support for the BJP in non-BJP led states and creating a chaos in those states.
Ma'am, is there now a fratricidal war within the Shiv Sena? It's Sena versus Sena on the streets of Maharashtra.
No, it is Shiv Sena. Shiv Sena is fighting back those forces who are trying to attempt and dislodge this government. And there is no war as such. A little protest that you saw in Thane, which you all are covering just so much yesterday by the Shinde camp, Eknath Shinde's camp, is not really a war. It is very clearly Shiv Sena's support base asserting itself that the only Shiv Sena that we know and that we support and we acknowledge and we will continue to work under is the Shiv Sena under the leadership of Shri Uddhav Balasaheb Thackeray. It is a Shiv Sena which was founded by Balasaheb Thackeray, not those who after 2.5 years of staying in the government, holding important portfolios, important positions, claiming to use his name, claiming to use his Hindutva narrative for themselves. Where were these people in the past 2.5 years?
And we've got some big breaking news also coming in just about a bit, because there are twists and turns that are just happening in this story. It's a very fast-moving story. Our rolling coverage in the Maharashtra political drama continues, and that we will continue on the other side of this very short commercial break. See you in just about a bit.
You are watching India Today.
Everyone's busy finding what's trending. You're busy finding out why. India Today, for those who research before reacting. Download the India Today app now. Everyone's busy finding what's trending. You're busy finding out why. India Today, for those who research before reacting. Download the India Today app now. Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com. India's #1 political reporter.
Defines what seems to be happening, vendetta politics. कोई दूध के से धुला हुआ नहीं है.
Unmatched eye, unmatched experience.
The world has changed. My black hair has become grey as well.
And with unmatched passion for the story.
Do not monopolize the conversation.
When it's 100% pure prime time. It's News Today with Rajdeep Sardesai. Monday to Friday, 9 p.m. Only on India Today TV. Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices.
You are watching India.
Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com.
Well, the Maharashtra political drama continues to get murkier and murkier by the day, and every twist and turn is being brought to you first here on India Today by us. There is a fight between the Uddhav Sena. I'm just going to break this down for our viewers. One side you have Uddhav Sena, and then you have got Shinde Sena raging fire. As the leaders lock horns, they are in a war of words right now. Union Minister Rao Sahib Danve made a huge claim, stating that the Mahavikas Aghadi government is on its last leg, and that they would sit in the opposition only for 2 to 3 days. Attacking the rebel faction, Shiv Sena MP Sanjay Raut said that all the 40 rebel MLAs who are in Guwahati are not alive and their bodies will come back to Maharashtra, but not their souls. He said this, of course, proverbially. He went on to say that the post-mortem of the soulless bodies will be directly done in the assembly. countering Sanjay Raut, rebel faction leader Eknath Shinde said that if we have to die to save Bala Sahib's Shiv Sena and his Hindutva ideology, even that's better. And if that happened, we will consider that to be our destiny. Launching a scathing attack on the NCP, Eknath Shinde said that how can Bala Sahib's Shiv Sena support someone who has direct connections with Dawood, who killed innocent Mumbaikars? So the war of words is getting rather very murky and ugly at this point of time.
आज तक मैं एक भाषण अभी मैंने भाषण ट्वीट किया गुलाबराव पाटिल का, आप देख लीजिए। वो खुद बोल रहा है बाप बदलने की भाषा। जो लोग बाप बदलते हैं उस बारे में उसने जो एक वक्तव्य किया है वो बहुत ही मार्गदर्शक है। वहां जो बैठे हैं गुवाहाटी में, उन सभी के लिए गुलाब पाटिल का जो मैंने एक स्पीच ट्वीट किया है वो बहुत ही मार्गदर्शक है। कैसे कैसे लोग अपना बाप बदल लेते हैं, बेईमान होते हैं, पार्टी में खाते हैं पीते हैं, बड़े होते हैं, अपना बाप बदल लेते हैं। हम बाप बदलने वाले में से नहीं है। मौत आज आप टाल सकते हो, कभी ना कभी तो ये क्रिया प्रक्रिया होने वाली है ना। जो 12 MLAs है जिसके ऊपर ये तलवार लटकी है डिस्क्वालिफिकेशन की, वो हटेगी नहीं। मैं आपको दावे के साथ कहता हूँ। मेरे जैसा है, मैंने कभी मनी लॉन्ड्रिंग या क्या है सब पैसों का खेल कभी किया नहीं। ठीक है, आप भेज दीजिए, मुझे मालूम है कहाँ से इंस्ट्रक्शन जाता है, क्यों जाता है। देखिए, मेरा आवाज़ आप बंद नहीं कर सकते। आप ED की नोटिस भेज दीजिए या मेरी गर्दन उड़ा दो, मैं गुवाहाटी से रास्ते से नहीं निकलूंगा। मैं यहाँ ही रहूंगा मेरे पार्टी के साथ। आप इतनी भी कोशिश करो, मैं मर जाऊंगा।
गुवाहाटी क्यों जाएगा सुनील राउत? हम तो बाला साहब के सैनिक है, शिव सेना उद्धव जी ठाकरे के सैनिक है। हम क्यों गुवाहाटी जाएंगे?
तो फिर ऐसी बातें क्यों फैल रही है?
ये मीडिया और वहाँ से ये कंफ्यूजन निर्माण करने के लिए, क्योंकि मेरे पास एक संजय राउत मेरे बड़े भाई है। तो लोगों में कंफ्यूजन होना चाहिए कि बाबा सुनील राउत भी जा रहे हैं, मैं क्यों जाऊँ?
हर रोज कहा
मेरे पास क्या है? लोग बोलते हैं वो कोई पैसा लेके, लेकिन मैं हमेशा बोलता हूँ मेरे पास क्या है? तो मेरे पास संजय राउत है, हमारे पक्ष प्रमुख उद्धव जी ठाकरे है, जो हमारे नस नस में है, हमारे खून में है। तो हम गुवाहाटी क्यों जाएंगे? हम आयुष्य के आखिरी क्षण तक हम शिवसेना।
लेकिन
मी केंद्रामध्ये मंत्री आहे, भैयासाहेब राज्यामध्ये मंत्री आहे। मला तर काय आता मंत्री होऊन 2.5 वर्ष झाले, 12-14 वर्ष तुम्हाला उरायले। तर 14 वर्षामध्ये तुम्ही जे जे केलं आणि अजून काही करायचं राहिलं तेवढं लवकर करून घ्या, वेळ निघून जायला लागली। त्याच्यामुळं पुढच्या काळामध्ये जर तुम्हाला संधी पाहिजे असेल तर त्याचाही विचार आपल्याला करता येईल। पण जिल्ह्यामध्ये बऱ्याच गोष्टी अजून आपल्याला बाकी आहे। पण टोपे साहेब, अजून मी 2-3 दिवस विरोधी पक्षात आहे आणि माझी बाजू मी तुमच्या पुढे मांडली पाहिजे।
आजही शिवसेनेबद्दल माझ्या मनामध्ये नितांत आदर आहे आणि आज जे काही शिवसेना नेते आदरणीय एकनाथजी शिंदे साहेब माझं दैवत आहे, त्यांनी जे बंड केले त्या बंडाला मी पाठिंबा देण्यासाठी आणि महाराष्ट्रातल्या शिवसैनिकाला मी नम्रपणाने आवाहन करणार आहे की एकनाथ शिंदे साहेबांच्या पाठीमागे आपण खंबीरपणाने यावं, तरच शिवसेना टिकेल आणि महाराष्ट्र टिकणार आहे अशी विनंती अंतःकरणातून मी माझ्या शिवसैनिकाला या ठिकाणी करतो।
Now, with so much going on, so many twists and turns and second-by-second developments, let us get you the top 5 developments that you need to keep yourself up to speed about in the Sena versus Sena face-off. Let's bring you development number 1. A big setback coming into the Uddhav government. Supreme Court has now extended the deadline for the disqualification of rebel MLAs until 11th of July. That's the first top development and first takeaway. Let's also get you the second development on your screens right now. The Supreme Court has directed the Maharashtra government to ensure the security of the rebel MLAs, their families and properties. Shinde camp has claimed that they were facing death threats. Let's bring you top development on your screen now. Number 3, top development. Shiv Sena MP Sanjay Raut has spoken exclusively to India Today's Manish Pandey on the Enforcement Directorate summons against him over the Patra Chawl land scam case. Sanjay Raut says he's not afraid to be arrested, but he's also skipping the summons tomorrow of the Enforcement Directorate. Now, development number 4 on your screens. Uddhav aide Sanjay Raut will not be appearing for the Enforcement Directorate summons tomorrow, as I just mentioned. Raut has been summoned by the Enforcement Directorate on Tuesday, which is tomorrow, in connection with the Patra Chawl land scam case. He's got a rally scheduled in Alibag, that's what he says. The top 5th development that you need to know. Rebel Sena MLA Deepak Kesarkar dropped a 4-page bombshell letter against Uddhav Sena, claiming Sena MP Sanjay Raut was trying to finish the Shiv Sena on the orders of the NCP Supremo Sharad Pawar. Those are the top 5 developments that you need to know on this particular story. With that, I'm going to be taking your leave. This is Chethi Narula signing off from this broadcast, but stay with us. The latest as far as this Mahavikas Aghadi versus Shinde Sena face-off is concerned on the other side with my colleague Shiv on 5 Live.
You are watching India Today.
India's #1 political reporter.
Defines what seems to be happening, vendetta politics. कोई दूध के से धुला हुआ नहीं है.
Unmatched eye, unmatched experience.
The world has changed. My black hair has become grey as well.
And with unmatched passion for the story.
Do not monopolize the conversation.
When it's 100% pure prime time. It's News Today with Rajdeep Sardesai. Monday to Friday, 9 p.m. Only on India Today TV.
You are watching in
Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Everyone's busy finding what's trending. You're busy finding out why. India Today, for those who research before reacting. Download the India Today app now. Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com.
Co-powered by Solar है लगाना तो Luminous को बुलाना. In association with Sensodyne Daily Sensitivity Protection. LIC हर पल आपके साथ. The new Volkswagen Virtus. Big relief for Shinde and his Sena. Supreme Court puts disqualification proceedings on hold. Notice to Uddhav government and Deputy Speaker. Uddhav and Shinde stare at prolonged face-off. Supreme Sena war.
It's been 1 week since the Maharashtra crisis began, but it looks like another 10 days that this could stretch out. Relief for the Shinde Sena, but their luxury rebel vacation in Guwahati, Assam looks to be an extended affair till at least the 11th of July, unless something drastic happens before that. Hectic developments in Supreme Court today. Who's got the advantage? And are we anywhere closer to answering the question, Kaun banega Senapati? And who will be the next Chief Minister of Maharashtra? I'm Shiv Sena. Thanks for tuning in. I'm going to do the best as always to answer some of those questions. But we're going to begin with Rajdeep Sardesai, a consulting editor who has with us live Deepak Kesarkar, one of the most prominent rebel MLAs, speaking live and exclusive on the big developments. Live with Rajdeep. Let's go straight.
And joining us now is a special guest from Guwahati. I'm joined by Deepak Kesarkar. He is becoming the spokesperson virtually of the rebel Sena MLAs. Appreciate your joining us, Mr. Kesarkar. Let's get this first very clear. The Supreme Court today has now given you a breather. You don't need to reply to the disqualification notice issued by the Deputy Speaker in the Maharashtra Assembly right away. In fact, the next hearing is now only on the 11th of July. In the meantime, are you ready now to approach the governor and go in for a vote of no confidence against the Uddhav Thackeray government, since you are claiming you have the numbers now, Mr. Kesarkar?
Sir, we'll have to consult the legal experts, and if required, we may take that decision.
Sir, you are saying you want to consult the legal experts. My question to you is, you have claimed you have the support of 39 Shiv Sena MLAs, plus you have another dozen independent MLAs. So you are in a position to bring down the Uddhav Thackeray government. What is stopping you from going to the governor, Mr. Kesarkar, if you have the numbers now, and saying, please bring in a no confidence motion, this government is in a minority? What is stopping you?
Sir, there are certain strategies which are to be strategized, which are to be decided by the top leadership, and they are into that process. And I don't think that at this point of time we should disclose it, but I can definitely thank for this result and the relief for our MLAs. And this is in a way victory for the democracy in Maharashtra.
But I will still ask you, Mr. Kesarkar, now that this matter has been prolonged till 11th of July, are you telling me that Maharashtra will have to wait to see what happens till the 11th of July? Because you have been in the Guwahati hotel, some of you now, for the last almost a week now. So I come back to it. What are you waiting for? You have the numbers.
What is it? What is it that is preventing you from taking this step of going to the governor and saying Uddhav Thackeray has lost a majority, sir?
Sir, there are two ways. Either we'll have to go, otherwise, as a tradition, they will have to admit that they don't have the number, they should step down, and then we will form our government. If they don't do that within next 1 or 2 days, then we'll think about our strategy.
No, let me get that straight. If the Uddhav Thackeray government does not go in for a floor test, you will go to the governor and demand a floor test after 2 days. Is that what you are saying? Your bookings in the hotel are till the 30th of June at least. So are you telling me come 1st of July, you will come to Mumbai, meet the governor and seek a floor test, sir?
Sir, that is a strategy. As I told you, it was almost like a war. They were trying to disqualify us. Every way they tried it. But finally, we had a justice. And I think they should take a lesson from this. They should step down. It would become more graceful. And that is my request to them.
You are asking Uddhav Thackeray ji to gracefully exit without facing the floor test, Kesarkar ji? Is that what you are saying? Uddhav Thackeray on his own should step down?
Certainly, I feel that we have a great tradition. We have the example of Yashwantrao Chavan ji, who were called to take the oath as a prime minister. Then he was the leader of the largest party in Lok Sabha. But he very politely refused it, saying that I don't have the number, because anybody could have occupied that place, stayed there for 1 month, and then he could have submitted his resignation. But Maharashtra has a great tradition, and we will have to follow the tradition, which makes you great.
Sir, you are talking of Maharashtra's great tradition. Maharashtra's great tradition also does not include sitting in a resort in Guwahati for the last 5 days. Uddhav Thackeray's camp is saying, why doesn't Mr. Kesarkar, why doesn't Eknath Shinde come to Mumbai? This should be all settled in the Maharashtra Assembly on the floor of the House. Your claim that you have a majority of MLAs cannot be settled in a Guwahati hotel, sir. It has to be settled on the floor of the House.
First thing, that they have appealed to their workers to come on the road. Previously, they wanted to take the decision on the road. In a democracy, any decision which is to be taken is taken on the floor of the House. And if they don't understand that, and if they insist on coming on the road, I think first thing is to maintain the law and order in Maharashtra, and then we will very happily go there, because these were the tactics to put psychological pressure on our MLAs, where they have failed miserably. And now I think they should accept their defeat and they should step down.
So you are saying they should accept the defeat. In the same case, you have written a letter to Uddhav Thackeray, and I will quote from the letter, saying this is a fight for Shiv Sena's self-esteem. We shall not stop till we win it. I request our party chief Shri Uddhavji Thackeray to consider view and make a new alliance with the BJP. Here you are writing to Uddhav Thackeray saying form an alliance with the BJP. Now you are telling me Uddhav Thackeray should step down. Is Uddhavji still your leader, or is Eknath Shinde now your leader? Are you now a new party led by Eknath Shinde, or are you still with the Shiv Sena of Uddhav Thackeray?
We are very much in Shiv Sena. We are the legislative party of Shiv Sena. We have a different existence. And Uddhavji still remains our party chief as the chief of Shiv Sena party. And I have requested him, because his present government is in alliance with Congress and NCP. Unless he gives his resignation and asks us to form a new government with his consent with BJP, then only this government will come into existence, and that would become more graceful.
So you are calling Uddhav Thackeray to resign, then to join hands once again with the BJP and form a new government. A new government headed by whom? By Uddhav Thackeray or Devendra Fadnavis or Eknath Shinde? Who will be the chief minister of this new government?
That would be decided by the top leadership. Our group leader is Mr. Shinde. Whatever Shinde decides, we abide by it.
No, you are saying that Uddhav Thackeray should leave the BJP, should leave the MV alliance, join hands with the BJP, and then Eknath Shinde will decide what happens, or will Uddhav Thackeray decide? Are you saying that Eknath Shinde now is the leader of the Shiv Sena and Uddhav Thackeray must listen to Eknath Shinde?
I'm not saying that. Eknath ji also respects Uddhav ji. He also respects and like a god, Babasaheb Thackeray and then Anand Dighe. So I don't think there is any dispute. And initially, Uddhav Sahib wanted to make him the CM of Maharashtra. He has spoken to him like that. But when Pawarji insisted that he should become the CM, then the things changed. And without his wish, he became the CM. He very efficiently fought the COVID. And we are proud of him. But now that 2.5 years are over, so he will have to decide. We had gone before the people of Maharashtra as a combination of BJP and Sena, and they have voted us like that. So that is the public mandate, as per which the next 2.5 years, we really request that we must form a government and the Maharashtra should progress, because when the central and the state are hands in hand, definitely there is a better way for the prosperous Maharashtra. We can take Maharashtra to greater heights.
Sir, but who will be the chief minister? Apparently, the deal is Devendra Fadnavis as chief minister, Eknath Shinde as deputy chief minister. Have you already struck this deal with the BJP?
I cannot say like that. I'll have to honestly tell you that these decisions are taken on higher levels. So I'm just a party spokesman, and that means these groups, and that is our actually party in the Legislative Assembly. So my role is limited, and I think that I have today written the letter.
But Mr. Kesarkar, you are saying you are a new group.
We are not a new group.
No, Mr. Kesarkar, you are saying you are a new group. Again, sir, just a minute. Mr. Kesarkar, you are saying you are a new group, but a new group to avoid the anti-defection laws may well need to merge with some party. Are you ready to merge with the BJP? Is that a possibility?
Let me complete, sir. We are not a new group. We are the original legislative assembly party of Shiv Sena, because it contained 55 members, 56 members initially. One of our MLA, he expired, unfortunately. Now we are 55. So that 55 or 56 people had unanimously chosen Eknath Shinde as their leader. So that position stays. It has not changed. And 14 or 15 people cannot change that position. So we are the original group. The 14 people which are left in Mumbai, they will have to work under Eknath Shinde ji, and they will also have to follow the whip issued by the legislative party. That is what I feel, and it should be as per law, yes. I think.
Sir, but Uddhav Thackeray ji's group has named Ajay Chaudhary as the leader of the legislature party and not Eknath Shinde. They have removed him. Now the decision is left with the Deputy Speaker to recognize who is the leader of the legislature party. You have challenged that decision of the Deputy Speaker. No decision yet has been taken on that. So can you claim today to be the original, to be the official Shiv Sena party or not? That also decision may go to the court. This matter will get further prolonged.
There are clear-cut decisions. In Ram Paswan case, it is clearly said what your what is written in your party's formation, it is not binding. Whatever there is in the constitution is binding on the house. So it is clearly mentioned. Whatever your party's constitution says, the actual constitution supersedes everything. So it is very clear, and I'm sure there should not be any dispute, because it is a decided matter.
Sir, let me ask you two final questions. One is the fear that is being expressed by many people in the Shiv Sena, or their claim that many of you have gone to Guwahati not because of any ideological reasons. You have gone because many of you have ED cases against you. Many of you have serious investigations going on. You are trying to protect yourself. This is not about ideology. This is because you have struck a deal with the BJP. All ED cases, all IT cases will now be put on the back burner if you join hands with the BJP.
Sir, it is not at all like that. If you could claim, there could be 2 or 3 ED cases on our MLAs, but we are 50. Right now 51. How that number could come to 51? Sir, it is clear cut. We have told to our party chief that we do not go ahead with this NCP and Congress alliance, and we want Sena to be with BJP. Number of times we have told him, the matter was delayed, and because of that delay, we have come to this situation. Otherwise, it would have happened 1 year back, 1 year and 1 or 2 months, maybe.
You are saying that this alliance could have, the MVA alliance could have broken down 1 year ago, Mr. Kesarkar. I will ask you again. The fact, Mr. Kesarkar, at the moment is you yourself have been an opponent of Narayan Rane, the union minister who is with the BJP in the Savantwadi, Konkan area. You have been in other parties as well. Is there any ideology in Maharashtra's politics? Is this purely about power? You are saying it is about Hindutva, but when Uddhav Thackeray ji broke with the BJP and formed the MVA government in November 2019, none of you objected. You were not made a minister. That's why, according to Sanjay Raut, that is your problem. You are aggrieved because of that. All of you have personal reasons. Why didn't any of you object in November 2019 when you were when Uddhav Thackeray formed this government with the MVA, with NCP, with Congress?
Nothing of that, sir. If you could see the pictures of swearing-in ceremony, I was very much present there. I was never unhappy with Uddhav Sahib for not making me a minister. In fact, I was instrumental in bringing in very important meetings to see that the kind of defaming of Matosri was being done. I was hurt by that. I tried to solve that problem in my own small way. So you cannot say that I was unhappy. Mr. Raut says anything, and Raut is the person who tried to come to Sindhudurga, and you know how he was taken out of Sindhudurga, that big fight against the terror. I have fought it, and for that I was asked to come to Delhi at the PM's office, and the Honorable Defense Minister Parrikar Sahib, he has taken me to Delhi. I convinced him that you will get 50 leaders like me in BJP who are soft-spoken, who could understand, and Shiv Sena may get 1 or 2 leaders like me because it is a party which has come up fighting. So a little aggressiveness will always there be in Shiv Sena. So let me the bridge between you two. And I belong to Maharashtra, so I know the poor people. It is a poor people's party, and I have sacrificed my legacy of big business house, and I have come to this politics to serve people. So, you know, it is my duty to join that party, and I'll become a bridge between the two. That time they were together. He said, "You are right," and I also told him that I respect Modi ji so much that I'll not be able to refuse if he asks me to join the party. And Raut is criticizing me. It is something, you know, sir, I could laugh at it.
But Mr. Kesarkar, Sir, Mr. Kesarkar, why did you all not object in November 2019? Today you are objecting. Today you are saying this. We should form a government based on Hindutva. Why did you not raise a red flag in November 2019? Why only today? Why only now when, as reports are suggesting, ED is now tracking down several of you who are has cases against several of you, and therefore you have chosen this path. Why did you not raise this issue in November of 2019?
I can tell you the answer of this. Sir, we were told that Amit Shah ji has assured 50% sharing of power in Maharashtra, and which is not the commitment that was made is not being honored by BJP, and that is what was told to us by Honorable CM. So Honorable CM's or Uddhav Sahib's pride or his No, that comes first for us. Our party's pride, the commitments, that comes for us. So it was basically an adjustment to our principles. And then when we realized that these people are going to our own constituencies, declaring somebody as the next MLA, they are going to MP's constituency, they declare that he is going to be our next MP. So they want to finish the party because of whom they have come into power. Actually, people have not voted them into power. They were defeated.
So they meaning who? Sharad Pawar? So when you say they want to finish the when you say they want to finish the Shiv Sena, you refer to Sharad Pawar and the NCP. You believe they want to finish the Shiv Sena? You were once with the NCP also.
Sir, I had given my resignation to Pawar Sahib when he asked me to campaign for Mr. Rane's son in the parliament election. But one thing I would like to mention here, that Shiv Sena was broken thrice. Once when Chagar Bhujbal came out, second time when Narayan Rane came out, third time when Raj Thackeray left Shiv Sena. Every time there was a role of Honorable Pawar Sahib in breaking Sena. So I don't expect him to make Sena grow because he has his own party, NCP. I know how much he loves his party, and his party president have visited several of our constituencies and declared himself. So it was an official announcement. So how we could tell about them? And then they were giving the funds also to them to see that their candidate, they win next time the election. Again, our own candidates who are the representatives of that particular constituencies. And number of times we have brought this fact to the notice of Honorable Uddhav Sahib, but there was no action taken. If you could remember, after Rajya Sabha elections, Mr. Raut took a press conference and mentioned that those from NCP who were supposed to vote for us in that election also didn't vote. Then if they didn't vote, were they questioned? They were not questioned at all. And that anger in the Shiv Sena MLA's mind was aggregated in the member of Legislative Council election. And this has come to now. The other facts, you know, that we have come out of our from Mumbai. We are camping here.
Right.
And, you know, this is because of what happened in the past.
Sir, but, Sir Kesarkar ji, why don't you come back to Mumbai and do a face-to-face meeting with Uddhav Thackeray? Are you ready for it? Sanjay Raut is saying, why are you all sitting in Guwahati? Come to Mumbai, have a face-to-face meeting with Uddhav Thackeray. If even one of you, according to Uddhav Thackeray, says he is not fit to be CM, he is ready to quit and do what you want. Are you ready for a face-to-face meeting in Mumbai with Uddhav Thackeray, yes or no?
Sir, I had a one-to-one meeting with Uddhav Thackeray when 4 of our senior ministers were present. I briefed him about everything, but we have never asked for his resignation. He is linking two things. It's a kind of emotional blackmailing. Nobody will say that you resign because he is our leader. We love him. But still, had it been Shiv Sena and BJP in power as per your earlier pact, and it was to be divided 2.5 year, then also he would have resigned and given BJP the chance to form a government. So that was the original understanding. If the original understanding could not take place, that's why Congress and NCP came into picture. But we, from our own mouth, cannot say that you resign because he is our leader. It is as good as insulting him. So we'll not do that. He will have to think himself. And I think he should have taken the decision. We cannot insist that he should resign. Now the government has lost its majority.
You have any message? You have any message, Mr. Kesarkar, for Mr. Raut? You have any message, Mr. Kesarkar, for Mr. Raut, who is daring you to come to Mumbai, face the reality in Mumbai?
Sir, Mr. Raut's language, you must have realized, it is very indecent language. And on the previous day, he says all Shiv Sainik should come to the road. And next day he appeals us, you come back to Mumbai to face those who are on the road. These kind of tendencies we have faced, sir, in Konkan. But I do not wish to fight with our own people. I want that peace should exist, and that is the responsibility of the elected government, and especially the CM, who is the constitutional head of the state. That is my only plea.
Aditya Thackeray is saying good riddance to bad rubbish. You have a message for Aditya Thackeray?
Sir, the previous day we were traveling in one car. That time he didn't thought that he's traveling with the rubbish. I know people like, Sanjay Raut. Prior to his marriage day, he was in jail because he was a Sena worker. His in-laws said, you will garland your photograph and that marriage will be performed. Fortunately, he came out, that why his marriage could be performed. Gulab Rao Patil has 17 cases against him, all political cases against him. Dada Saheb Bhuse, who worked day and night to establish Shiv Sena in his constituency or in his area. All these people are trash. Do we get elected because of you? I was also a MLA when I was not in Sena. That time I had defeated Sena with a big margin. But I don't say that. We have everywhere in each constituency, the candidate have his own merit plus the party's vote. Every party have vote in various parts of Maharashtra or anywhere you go. And then if it is added with the party's vote, you get elected. And that's why I think he's young. He should not use Mr. Raut's language. He must follow his father, who is soft-spoken and the new face of Shiv Sena. And he worked because he has a great future. All of us love him and all of us want him to be a great leader. And that's why he must have the patience. He should not talk like Mr. Raut and he should talk like Uddhav Sahib, who is very soft-spoken.
I will ask you one last question. There is some talk that Mr. Shinde has spoken to Raj Thackeray of the MNS this morning. Is there possibility of you tying up with the MNS with Raj Thackeray? Would you prefer Raj Thackeray to Uddhav or Aditya as your future leader?
No, sir. Uddhav Sahib is our leader. Even Aditya ji is our leader. We respect them and we continue to be Shiv Sena in the Legislative Assembly. And our request is that the original party also led by Uddhav Sahib should make a pact, and MLAs will also, of course, will be in the new government, whosoever they appoint, and will form a good government and will take Maharashtra to a great height.
So therefore you are saying you do not want to split the Shiv Sena. You only want the Shiv Sena to come together, exit this government, join the BJP and form a new government. Am I correct? And by how soon will this new government be formed? Will Maharashtra get a new government by next week this time? Or will you remain in Guwahati now for an extended break?
No, sir. I think they should take a decision at the earliest so that Maharashtra could have a government which is in majority and could rule nicely. Because whatever decisions you take when you are in a minority government, they are bound to be cancelled when the new government takes the charge.
So you are saying that you want a new government and Uddhav ji is still your leader. Uddhav ji is still your leader, but you want him to leave this government and join hands with the BJP. That is your only condition. Am I correct?
Certainly, sir. And the honor of Mr. Shinde should be kept in that government. As it is, he was supposed to become the CM of Maharashtra as per Uddhav Sahib's promise to him.
And here's the very latest breaking on this unfolding political thriller. Eknath Shinde in his latest tweet has hailed the Supreme Court order. Shinde says this is a victory of Bala Sahib's Hindutva and teachings of Sena leader Anand Dighe. Meanwhile, we've got the inside scoop on the Shinde Sena's next plan of action. The Shinde camp is likely to approach the governor of Maharashtra to withdraw support from the Mahavikas Aghadi government. Remember, the Shiv Sena has been split wide open, and now the Shinde Sena considers itself to be a fully functional political unit that can withdraw support from the Mahavikas Aghadi. The Shinde Sena is likely to push for a no-trust vote against the Uddhav government and likely to claim that they are the original Shiv Sena. the real Shiv Sena wins is a hashtag that Eknath Shinde is trying to trend on social media, and he's also now looking to claim that he leads the original Shiv Sena group in the Legislative Assembly as well. Let's go straight across to India Today's frontline reporters on this big developing story. Vidya is in Mumbai, Polomi is in Guwahati, where the rebel base is situated and from where Eknath Shinde has launched this entire attack. Polomi, to you first. Eknath Shinde looking at the Supreme Court order today and basically interpreting it as a victory and saying the real Shiv Sena wins. But coming down to what his plan of action is, withdrawing support to the Mahavikas Aghadi appears to be one of those plans of action, even though the next time things happen in court will be July the 11th. What is the next step in that case, Polomi?
Well, Shiv, this was always his plan of action. In fact, this morning itself, via the sources that we have inside the camp, we had reported that as soon as the Supreme Court order comes in, the camp will in fact approach the governor. Their plan was to get a stay on the disqualification proceedings, because at the end of the day, even if they forced a floor test and if they stood disqualified, 16 of them stood disqualified, that would bring their numbers down and it would completely, topple the number game altogether. There would have this entire effort to bring as many MLAs into the fold here at Hotel Radisson Blu would have been completely gone to waste. So now that they've got that stay, it's status quo. No action can be taken vis-a-vis those disqualification proceedings till the 11th of July. What they're likely to do is to approach the governor and withdraw support to the Mahavikas Aghadi government, compelling the governor to call for a floor test in the assembly, in which case they will of course hope that the Uddhav Thackeray faction will not be able to muster together the numbers and will fall eventually, which will then compel for the formation of a new government, in the sense if there is a possibility of parties coming forward, which would then be this faction plus the BJP that would put together the numbers, approach the governor, stake claim to form the new government in Maharashtra for the next 2.5 years before the next elections. The only spanner in the works could be the possibility where the Supreme Court has kept a window open for the Uddhav Thackeray faction to approach the court if in case a floor test is forced. But it has not stayed the possibility of a floor test being called. So the governor can still call a floor test, but these guys from the Uddhav Thackeray camp could possibly approach the court saying, what's going on? Why has a floor test been called while we've been stopped from acting till the 11th of July? How is this happening? So they can approach the court, but the governor can still call for a floor test.
Right, and that's the reason why Eknath Shinde wants to approach the governor with his numbers and maybe force that floor test, which Uddhav Thackeray's Sena does not want at this point. Vidya, Eknath Shinde saying real Shiv Sena wins. He's seeing it as a victory, relief from the Supreme Court. He's seeing this as a validation of his rebellion. What are you hearing from the Uddhav camp?
Well, Shiv, I'm actually outside Matoshri, the residence of Uddhav Thackeray. He's right inside, though his son Aditya Thackeray has been going to various meetings and holding various meetings with the party rank holders, or for that matter the general public as well. But right here, in spite of what Kesarkar was telling Rajdeep, that they want the MVA to be broken out. They did not want the Shiv Sena to be part of the NCP Congress coalition. In spite of all that they have been requesting, right now at this very moment there is a meeting between NCP leaders and the Shiv Sena. Uddhav Thackeray is actually going to happen. Dilip Valse Patil, the Home Minister, also part of NCP, is already inside. He is at the residence of Uddhav Thackeray. The meeting is being held while senior other leaders of the NCP too will be reaching here in some time. So certainly, as much as the people who have rebelled against Uddhav Thackeray really want the Shiv Sena to distance themselves from the NCP, it is as much more that we see that Uddhav Thackeray has actually been holding on to them, making assurances to them that the coalition will not break. Okay, very interesting. So, the final move appears to be afoot as far as Eknath Shinde is concerned, even though he's still camping. He's still camping in Guwahati. It's been 5 days now. Today happens to be the 6th day.
Tomorrow will be 1 week since this entire, this entire rebellion actually began with India Today's Newsbreak. Stay with me, Polami and Vidya. Let's break down for our viewers now why Eknath Shinde is so suddenly upbeat. I mean, he's had the numbers, he has the advantage all this while, but he's sounding especially upbeat because of what happened in Supreme Court. No matter which way you look at it, it was big relief for the so-called Shinde Sena by the Supreme Court in this unfolding political battle. The Apex Court has asked the Deputy Speaker of the Maharashtra Assembly to keep the disqualification of 16 Sena rebel MLAs on hold. So they cannot be disqualified right now. The top court has issued a notice to the Uddhav government and the Deputy Speaker and has asked all parties to respond within the next 5 days. Now, the Deputy Speaker, who is seen to be close to the Uddhav camp, has been asked to explain the notice sent to the Shinde Sena MLAs. The Shinde camp sitting in Guwahati has filed 2 petitions in the Supreme Court challenging the moves made by the Uddhav Sena in the wake of this rebellion. The petition had also said that the Mahavikas Aghadi alliance in Maharashtra had lost majority in the House as 38 of 55 Shiv Sena legislators have withdrawn their support to the coalition and are in fact physically sitting with Eknath Shinde far away in Guwahati.
The time to file our reply to the notice of the Deputy Speaker for our disqualification is extended till the 12th of July. Secondly, has directed and recorded the undertaking of the state government that all protection to life and liberty of these 39 MLAs as also their family members shall be extended by the state government.
Proceedings को कोई रोक नहीं लगाई है. Stay order disqualification पे है कि disqualification नहीं हो सकता. But that stands complete कि Deputy Speaker will call these people. जो notice गया है उसको invalidate नहीं किया है. इन लोगों को अपनी कार्रवाई के लिए शामिल होना ही पड़ेगा.
मौत आज आप टाल सकते हो, कभी न कभी तो ये क्रिया प्रक्रिया होने वाली है ना. जो 12 MLAs है इसके ऊपर ये तलवार लटकी है डिस्क्वालिफिकेशन की, वो हटेगी नहीं, मैं आपको दावे के साथ कहता हूँ.
Now let's just show you the big takeaways from what happened inside the Supreme Court today. These are the key takeaways. There was a lot of things that happened, but we've just broken it down into a few points. The Shinde Sena disqualification attempt by the Uddhav Sena is on hold. So that can't happen right now. Those MLAs are still MLAs. There will have to be a status quo till at least the 11th of July. So no disqualification of any kind can happen before the 11th of July. Now, the Deputy Speaker of the Maharashtra Assembly has been asked to explain the disqualification notice that has been issued. Now, the notice was issued by the Supreme Court today to the Uddhav government as well as the police on the issue of security. The Supreme Court has given 5 days for the Uddhav camp to reply to all of these questions. It has also ordered immediate steps to protect the rebel MLAs as well as their families in the wake of violence and vandalism that has been seen in different parts of Maharashtra. Now, amidst this raging political turmoil that is now 6 days old and unfolding minute by minute in Maharashtra, Shiv Sena MP Sanjay Raut has been summoned by the Enforcement Directorate on Tuesday, that's tomorrow, in connection with an old case, the Patra Chawl land scam case. Earlier this year, the ED had already attached some of Sanjay Raut's properties in Maharashtra. Take a look.
अपने बाप के नाम पर पार्टी बनाओ और अपने बाप के नाम पर वोट मांगो. हमारा जो पार्टी का बाप है उसका क्यों आप इस्तेमाल कर रहे हो? आपको तो 100 बाप है उधर.
He has been the principal troubleshooter of the beleaguered Uddhav government, leading the fight from the front with a series of fiery counters.
जिस तरह की राजनीतिक हलचल मुंबई में चल रही है, महाराष्ट्र में, देश में चल रही है, तो मुझे पूरा अंदेशा था कि मेरे बारे में मुझे रोकने के लिए, शिवसेना को रोकने के लिए कुछ लोग इकट्ठा आएंगे महाराष्ट्र के खिलाफ और मुझे और मेरे कोई साथी हुए उनको तकलीफ देंगे.
And now Uddhav Sena MP Sanjay Raut finds himself in Enforcement Directorate crosshairs, summoned for grilling over his role in Patra Chawl land scam case. Amid the thick of Maharashtra power tussle, Raut was quick to dare the centre to arrest him, saying he is ready to be beheaded but not bow.
देखिए, मेरा आवाज आप बंद नहीं कर सकते. आप ईडी की नोटिस भेज दीजिए, या मेरी गर्दन उड़ा दो, मैं गुवाहाटी से रास्ते से नहीं निकलूंगा, मैं यहाँ ही रहूंगा मेरी पार्टी के साथ। आप कितनी भी कोशिश करो, मैं मर जाऊंगा, लेकिन आपने मेरे खिलाफ ईडी लगाया, सीबीआई लगाया, मैं जेल जाऊंगा ना, आप मुझे अरेस्ट कर सकते हो। अभी मैं बैठा हूँ शिवसेना भवन में, आप आइए, अरेस्ट करो, मुझे बुलाओ, कब आना है, मैं जाऊंगा।
Sena too quickly rallied behind Sanjay Raut. But legally, it doesn't look good for the belligerent Sena MP. In April this year, ED attached his properties in the 1,034 crore land scam case. Sanjay Raut and wife Varsha Raut's Alibag plot and a flat in Mumbai's Dadar were among the properties attached. The probe agency claims that Raut's wife Varsha, family members and associates in an arm of construction major HDIL connived and sold state housing body plots and floor space to private developers. ED says the private developers illegally sold the flats to buyers and total proceeds of the crime amounts to nearly 1,034 crore. The Sena rebels and the BJP justified the penal action.
उनके पास तो एक ही रास्ता है, जब भी कुछ भी हो जाए तो उंगली या तो केंद्र सरकार की ओर करे या हमारी नेताओं की ओर करे। तो ये बचपना छोड़ दें, वे आत्मचिंतन करें, और ये उनके दल का अपना निजी मामला है। निजी मामले में वे अपने परिवार में उस मामले को निपटे, हमारा उस मामले से कोई लेना देना नहीं है।
It's not just Sanjay Raut who's facing ED heat. 3 senior Aghadi ministers, Anil Deshmukh, Nawab Malik and Anil Parab are facing scam heat and fire over underworld links.
As the legal battle is being fought in the Supreme Court of India, the political battle has turned Mumbai into a minefield, with stakes high and a game of political upmanship underway. The verbal volleys, moves and counter moves are likely to increase till the 11th of January, the day of the next hearing for the Supreme Court. With video journalist Sanjay, this is Mosmi Singh in Mumbai for India Today.
And let's go straight back to Vidya, who's right outside Matushri, where deliberations are happening minute by minute. Vidya, you know, a no-confidence motion is the last thing that Uddhav Thackeray wants right now. You know, there may be some kind of protection from that happening, but the governor can still, you know, ask for a floor test and a no-confidence motion, which is what the Shinde camp wants right now. If that happens, how is the Uddhav Thackeray camp going to prepare for it? How will they be able to handle that?
Well, they actually do not have the numbers, but remember, you know, when Sanjay Raut, Uddhav Thackeray, Aditya Thackeray, whenever they say that, you know, whenever these MLAs come back to Mumbai, quite a lot of them will deflect. They have some sort of a confidence that the emissaries that they had sent to Guwahati might actually now, for the present, might have joined hands with them. But they are inside the entire Eknath Shinde camp. They are slowly trying to get the people, the MLAs who were probably in dual mind, to, you know, think about coming back to the Shiv Sena fold. So that's a hope that they really have. Also, apart from that, remember, that's one of the reasons why so much of pressure, you know, the kind of language that is being used, the kind of words that are being used against those MLAs, trying to put the pressure of the cadre. You remember the Shiv Sena leaders here have been holding meetings with the cadre to find out exactly what they want and whether they could actually call up their own MLAs and tell them that they will not be supporting them any further if they really don't come back. So all the kind of pressure that is being put, they are really hopeful that by the time that game really comes around, that number game, they might actually still manage to pull back some of those who are in the Eknath Shinde camp and let those people not really be as successful as they are claiming to be right now.
Very interesting. So what Vidya is basically saying is that the no-confidence trust vote, if it actually takes place, the Uddhav camp has put up a brave face because they believe that once the rebels return to Mumbai, they might actually change their minds and then the number ka khel will be turned against the Shinde Sena. You know, this is tantalizing stuff and we will never know what the real answer is until that actual trust motion takes place, if it does take place. Governor Koshyari was suffering from COVID. He's back in office. He's ready to order what he, is constitutionally authorized to order. But let's see if that actually happens. One of the big anticipations from the Supreme Court was whether they would simply announce or call for a floor test to settle this once and for all, since it has to come down to the numbers. But clearly, it's going to take longer than that. Thank you, Vidya and Polomi, for joining me. We're going to keep coming back to you on this developing story. The Uddhav Sena versus the Shinde Sena, meanwhile, has also gotten violent because, after all, we're dealing with angry, emotional cadres looking at their party being split wide open. Supporters of the Shiv Sena and the Shinde camps locked horns, as you can see in these pictures, in different parts of Maharashtra, especially in the Kolhapur district today. Clashes erupted between both factions. The situation became so tense in certain places that the police had to intervene and detain several workers, as you can see.
Shinde Sena versus Uddhav Sena on the streets of Maharashtra. Street clashes, effigy burning, sloganeering and street marches. Supporters of Shinde and Uddhav came face to face in Maharashtra's Kolhapur. Unruly scenes were witnessed as both camps indulged in a brawl. Cops had to eventually intervene and detain the rival agitators. Shinde camp is in no mood to budge even on the streets. Sena's most vocal leader Sanjay Raut's effigy was burnt in rebel chief Eknath Shinde's stronghold, Thane. Eknath Shinde's son, Shrikant Shinde, who led the protests, pledged an all-out fight to uphold Bala Saheb Thackeray's legacy from Uddhav government in minority.
बगावत का अंत कहां तक होगा? आखिर ये लड़ाई जाएगी कहां? बगावत नहीं है, ये लोगों को जो चाहिए, वो महाराष्ट्र के जो लोगों को चाहिए, जनता को चाहिए, वो जो है वो आज एकनाथ शिंदे साहब के नेतृत्व में जो है वो सभी एमएलए लोगों ने किया है.
Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray, who is bleeding MLAs by the hour, ordered a crackdown on the rebels, stripping the rebel ministers of their portfolios, reallocating their posts among the remaining loyalists. Eknath Shinde's Urban Development Ministry has been handed over to Subhash Desai. Gulab Rao Patil's Water Supply and Sanitation Department has been given over to Anil Parab. Uddhav Thackeray's son Aditya was handed over 3 additional ministries. The two rival Sena factions engaged in a serious fight over Bala Saheb's legacy. Sanjay Raut targeted rebels and accused them of ditching the Sena and the Thackeray family for their political gains.
जो लोग 40-40 साल से पार्टी में रहते हैं और भाग जाते हैं, उनका जमीर मर गया, आत्मा मर गया है, तो क्या बचता है? जिंदा लाश, जिंदा कौमें.
The fight for the Maha throne is far from over, with both the Sena camps not ready to budge. With Mausami Singh in Mumbai, Bureau Report, India Today.
And this sensational claim by the Shinde Sena against the Mahavikas Aghadi government amidst this political eruption in Maharashtra, with rebel MLA Deepak Kesarkar, the one you just heard live and exclusive here on India Today, dropped this 4-page bombshell on the Uddhav Sena, claiming that Sena MP Sanjay Raut was trying to finish off the Shiv Sena on the orders of NCP Supremo Sharad Pawar. Of all the many conspiracy theories that have been doing the rounds, this is one that has got official sanction from the Shinde Sena, with one of the rebel MLAs actually saying that Sharad Pawar has put out a supari on the Shiv Sena via Sanjay Raut. It doesn't get more mysterious than that. He further went on to say that decisions were taken at the behest of NCP netas, making a huge declaration here on India Today. MLA Kesarkar claimed that the Shinde Sena faction will not pull back until they take Maharashtra to new heights. Now, Deepak Kesarkar's comments come at a time when the rebel MLAs are claiming a 2/3 majority to stake claim, and that's the reason why it is being seen that they might approach the governor of Maharashtra very soon. Meanwhile, Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray has stripped the rebel ministers of their portfolios officially. And we've got another big twist on this unfolding saga on the other side. We're putting it together right after this very short break. Stay with India Today.
Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com or call 9999892171. Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Everyone's busy finding what's trending. You're busy finding out why. India Today, for those who research before reacting. Download the India Today app now. Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices.
You are watching Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com. India's #1 political reporter.
Defines what seems to be happening, vendetta politics. कोई दूध के से धुला हुआ नहीं है.
Unmatched eye. Unmatched experience.
The world has changed. My black hair has become grey as well.
And with unmatched passion for the story.
Do not monopolize the conversation.
When it's 100% pure prime time. It's News Today with Rajdeep Sardesai. Monday to Friday, 9 p.m. Only on India Today TV.
You are watching India Today.
Rebellion quake in Guwahati. Its tremors felt in Chowpatty. So what started as a resort politics by the rebel MLAs has now turned to vandalism and violence on the streets of Mumbai. Now that street fight has become a legal fight in the court. Can the Supreme Court notice today be seen as a possible relief to Eknath Shinde and the rebel MLAs? Because remember, right now the rebel camp's numbers are increasing every single hour. And with that, there is also an increase in their confidence, defiance, and now perhaps an ego boost coming in from the top court as well. But the question remains, is the clock ticking for Uddhav Thackeray or will he manage to resolve the crisis? So when's the next big government being formed in Maharashtra? And who will be leading the Shiv Sena? Watch all that and more at 6 p.m. Prime with me, Pooja Shali.
이번에 경기하는 청기서원께서는 장기간에 이제 8기 어차전에서 인민들의 생활상 영어를 기준으로 내세우고 생산투쟁을 돌릴 수 있는 이런 가업도 있었습니다. 그래서 우리 공장에서는 인민들이 좋아하는 이런 샴푸, 그다음에
최대 비사망 체계 여론학계 서덕 사업을 제일 순위에 놓고 진행하고 있습니다. 특히 인민소비품을 생산하는 공장으로서 바닥 서덕과 서울 기대들에 대한 서덕 사업을 그 어느 때보다 더 강화하고 있습니다.
Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices.
NASA beamed doctors into the middle of the International Space Station while they were physically on Earth. This might seem like a scene from a sci-fi movie, but this technology now exists. NASA tried this new method